Hey, girl, hey.
Motherfucker, wait till I get my face in the goddamn mic.
All right.
Sorry to call you a motherfucker.
It's okay. Never once fucked my mother.
You're a dad fucker.
Whoa, didn't do that either.
Not your dad.
Okay.
A
Fair,
dad.
yeah. A dad.
A dad fucker, not your dad fucker. That'd be gross.
That'd be real gross.
Real gross. Why isn't that a slur, you know?
You dad fucker.
For like chicks, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Mother seems to like, it's the syllables, you know? It
I
rolls
think
off
it's
the
just
tongue.
what we're used to. We should make that a thing.
Maybe.
You
Father fucker.
Fucking dad fuck.
Fucking father fucker.
fucker's good.
Oh.
That's good.
It's
like
two
mother.
F's too, you know?
Yeah, like mother, father.
Yeah.
You're not a mom fucker. You're not a dad fucker. You're a father fucker.
Yeah.
That's even better. That's better than motherfucker.
Yeah.
Father fucker.
Father fucker.
All
Hey,
right.
father fucker.
Let's work on that,
All
okay?
right. Yeah, we'll just get it to roll off the tongue easy, you know?
Everybody help us make that a thing. We'll know where it started.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
God damn!
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'd love to hear your goddamn, Aaron.
Well, my goddamn is we came back from our special little fantastic trip out in the mountains.
God, wasn't that awesome?
It was amazing. It was one solid day and a half almost.
I know, it did really go quick.
Yeah, of pure bliss, but it was fun and
Pure
it was a
bliss.
good time. And then I got home and my sweet little baby boy, first when I came home, he came out onto the driveway to greet me.
Aww.
And he was sobbing. And I was like, what is wrong?
Like, taking me back.
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, what's wrong? He's like, these are happy tears. I was like, oh my God, you're so sweet.
Baby.
I love you. And he was extra sensitive because he had an ear infection. He did not feel good. And we had
fuck.
to go right to the urgent care
God damn
to get that shit taken care of.
Nothing
Yep.
like coming hot off a girl's trip to go right into the fucking urgent care with a kid, man.
Yep. I hadn't even showered. I was
Ugh.
like, oh God. And I didn't shower on our trip because
You
I was
did
like, I'm
not.
just going to shower when I get home in my
That
own.
was so many days of grunge.
Oh, so many days. We didn't do anything.
Nothing. We
But
did not do a thing.
Still, I just sat in my filth. And then I was like, oh, I guess we'll go to urgent care. And then, you know, when you go to urgent care and they're like, we're going to triage you. And I'm like, okay, sure. Well, my kid's a fucking trooper.
Aw.
So he's like fine in front of everyone. And then as soon as the lady turns her back, he like looks
Starts
at me and
sobbing.
just starts fucking sobbing. And I was like,
Aw.
oh my God. Like, my poor little guy. And the lady was like, oh, okay. I'll see if I can take him right now. Like,
Yeah,
have someone
get him some
I'm
fucking
like,
medicine.
homie, he's 6.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
He just wants to go lay down. Yeah. So that was a nightmare. But it's fine. He's fine. He's feeling so much better already.
Yeah, I was gonna say antibiotics. Did that like fucking perk him up a day later or some shit?
100%.
That shit
yeah.
is like heaven sent.
Yeah. He's like, within that night, he was fine.
Oh, good. Yeah, you guys had me all nervous when we got home.
Oh, God.
So you guys had some shit falling apart in your life, and I was
Yeah.
like, my life is always shitty.
What's
What's gonna happen?
Yours was the start, you know?
Honestly, I think I paid my dues.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Life isn't allowed to give me any more shit at the moment.
Not right now. Not at a
on wood.
time like this.
Not at a time like this.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Good.
hit everything. Well, goddamn.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's feeling better.
Me too. My sweet little boy. He doesn't deserve that. you
No,
know?
nobody deserves a rotten ear.
Yeah. Poor little guy.
Those
He-
things fucking suck.
In the middle of the night, before we had left for the trip, he had slept on his ear wrong or whatever. I thought he had slept on his ear wrong because he woke up in the middle of the night. He's like, my ear hurts. And I was like, he slept on it.
You know when
stupid."
you like leave it in one
Yeah.
spot and you move it and you're like, oh, fuck.
And you're like, why is it so hot? And like,
Yeah.
I can't even move my head.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Uh-huh.
So I thought that had happened to him. And then he was like, can you look inside it and make sure there's nothing inside? But don't tell me if there is. And I was like, it's so relatable.
Dude, that's my little kid, my little one. My older one's like, take a picture. And then my little one is like, I don't want to fucking know about it.
I don't want to know. Tell me when it's out. When it's solved. Yeah, your older one is like, I'll help you get it.
Yeah, that's me. Those are my genes. I'm
Ugh.
like, take a picture. Let me see. Can I touch it? That's weird. Let's smell it.
No.
Lick it.
I am my kid. My
Yeah.
kid is me. Like, can you look and make sure it's okay, but don't tell me if it's not? And school your face, because I'll know.
I'm reading every micro reaction on your face at this moment
Yeah,
in time.
but I don't want to know, but I will look into your soul to see if you're fucking lying to me.
Oh my God, that's so funny. See, I'm like, whenever they look in there and they're like, it's not too bad, I'm like, fucking liars. I bet that shit is fucking pussing and oozing.
Anyway, give me your goddamn.
Oh, okay. So disclaimer before I start,
Uh-oh.
because I am the type of person that I am. And if anybody else is listening, I do not want to traumatize them. I want to traumatize you,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to at the sake of everybody else.
Oh.
Only as payback.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody else, for protecting me.
But my animals are okay.
Oh, thank God.
Let's start that with
Jesus
this.
Christ. Oh, God.
So, growing up, I didn't play sports, right?
Yep. Okay, we're going to the way back.
Going way back.
It's a long story.
I did not play sports. I did not watch sports. Like, I don't know fucking shit about sports. I'm learning a lot of shit because my kids like it, and I have to go to their games and everything. And so I'm like, everybody's like, what's the score? And I'm like, the fucking 4 walks, 2 outs, and 1 strike or whatever. And
I'll tell you
everybody's
that
like,
much right now.
you said that so out of order. You say it this way, or like full count or whatever. And I'm like, fuck it. Don't ask me then, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You all got the app. Look at it. They're all joking.
Damn, yours is
but
on an app?
yeah, it's fancy. Okay, but the point being, I don't fucking know shit about sports,
Yeah. Fine.
including
Okay.
bat safety.
Uh-oh.
I know about bat safety.
Jesus Christ.
I know about bat safety.
Stacey.
I'm just
You
not-
should know about bat safety.
I know about bat safety.
I've been at your house where bat safety was not safe.
I'm not allowed. Okay. So my oldest son, he loves practicing baseball in the backyard, and he always wants to play a mini game. And we have bases set up in the backyard. It's not as extravagant as it sounds. It's not like a full fucking baseball field.
Yeah,
it's like this small
it's
little
like
runway.
The gopher hole is first.
Yeah, exactly that. And
The basketball is second.
And we always use wiffle balls because we have a lot of homes around us, and the kid can actually hit it now, and I don't want it go, and it goes over fences and stuff. I don't want any windows getting hit.
Dang,
so we always use
dingers
wiffle
over the
balls.
fence.
No big deal. It's a small backyard. Big for San Diego, small for anywhere else.
Yeah, right?
So he always asks me, let's play a mini game. And basically he just wants me to pitch to him. I'll get a couple pitches from him and I'll get to hit, but for the most part,
fun.
I fucking clobber everyone too. God damn it. I'm swinging at everything. It ain't pretty, but I get it. Anyway, so I'm pitching to my son. First motherfucking pitch. And right as I throw it, Chelsea walks right up to where he's batting.
Oh, no.
And homie gave it his all. Fucking whacked her right on the forehead. Oh my God. My soul left my body. She made the worst.
Oh, my God.
And like started running away and whimpering and like crawling. And I was like, I just witnessed my dog get her head bashed in.
Your kid just killed your dog.
Oh my God.
I have pet her today. I know she's fine.
She's totally fine. But in this moment, I felt very nauseous and like
my
I was
God,
going to
I
faint.
bet.
And then my son, oh my God, he turned so white, like pale, like even his lips were pale. And he was like, huh. And then he ran into the bushes to go hide. And I was trying to chase Chell, who was like whimpering and running inside to go die in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was chasing her. And then I saw my son like about to fucking pass out or whatever. And I was like, who do I go after? And so
Yeah.
I'm like, baby, come here. You're okay, baby. It was an accident. It was mommy's fault. I shouldn't have pitched it. I should have put the dogs away. Like, I didn't fucking think of any of this shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
God.
grow up playing this. And, you know, every time Lee plays, he's so careful about everything. And he plays with him almost every night. It's rare that I do it because I
Yeah.
fucking don't. I'm not good. My fucking son will tease me and he'll be like,
It all takes practice.
I know. My fucking son will tease me and he'll be like, you can't throw a strike. I know. And I fucking can. But, you know, I get a lot of shit around in this house when it comes to sports.
Just
Okay.
trying to prove myself. Almost accidentally killed the fucking dog.
Jesus titty fucking Christ. Okay, so I get my son and I get him to come with me. Like, let's go check on her together. It's okay, baby. You're okay. I'm not mad. You're not in
Aw,
trouble. It's okay. And
buddy.
he's going, okay. And like trying to fight, like, homie is not okay.
Yeah.
And so I get him to come with me and I see Chell is like sitting on the couch, but she's okay. But she just looks like, what the fuck? You know?
yeah.
And so I get a little ice because I'm like, she just got whacked. I didn't see any blood anywhere or anything. And then I go over and I'm just holding it on her head because I don't know where. I saw her get hit in the head. I
Yeah.
saw it all happening. But also I'm panicking and I can't remember like, was it on the right, left, middle? Where was it? So I just put ice on her whole head and she was shaking. And I was like, fuck. Like, I'm trying to keep my kid calm and let him know that she's okay. But
when
also,
was this?
this was 2 days ago.
Oh, my
It was not last night, the night before last.
God. Okay.
So I'm like
She's
putting
made
her-
it through 2 sleeps.
2 sleeps.
That's
Oh my
good.
God. So I was holding it on her head. I couldn't tell where it was at. She was shaking and everything. And then I just kind of like gave her a lot of love and held it on there. There was no lumps or anything. There was no cave-ins or anything. I kind of
Aw,
touched her head a little
baby.
bit and she didn't like back away or anything like that. But her ears were down the whole time. Like, fuck. I felt so bad for her. And I was like moving her fur to see if there's any blood, and I couldn't see anything. I could not find out where this happened. But I was like, okay, good. And then my older son was like, I didn't swing with all my strength. And I was like, yeah, okay.
It was like a 90%.
Fucking hurt it.
Yeah.
But
Would have been a dinger, kid.
Oh
No one was
my
going over the
God.
fence.
Oh my God. I was just like, oh, I don't feel good, right? So then we went back out to go play, and I left the dogs inside, and I literally set timers for like every 2 minutes I was going to check on her. Girl, she was fine. She is fine. But I did notice later in the day when I moved her fur, it's like right in the middle of her head. I'll show you. And there's this big old bruise now. And she'll kind of like, don't fucking touch that. That hurts.
Oh, baby.
I know, my baby girl. Oh my God. Can I just say I'm so thankful it didn't split open or cave in? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm really glad that your kid didn't cave in your dog's skull, too.
Girl, I'm like checking her pupils. I'm like, what's going on? Don't let her sleep. Keep her awake.
Like, follow my eyes, bitch.
And then Lee came home, and I told him, and he was just like, oh, is she okay? Like, he didn't obviously witness everything or how bad it was or understand that, like, I almost died too. Like, I had a near-death experience because my dog almost died.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was going to do. Like, what do? Do I pick up a dead dog and bring her to the vet and hopefully try to save her? I don't fucking know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was in sheer panic mode. Anyway, so Lee's like, she's fine, whatever. I checked on her so much.
Aww.
So, like, I don't need that bitch Billy Mays in me or something, going to sleep and never waking up.
Yeah.
Not about that life. But we are 2 days. 2 days past.
Yeah.
She seemed normal, right?
Yeah, she seemed pretty good. She was yelling at me today.
I feel like she's a little dumber, though.
Well, she was yelling at me today.
She just fucking barks, and you're like, shut the fuck up.
She normally does that, though.
Yeah,
But I started talking back to her today, and she just kept going. I was like, that's not normal.
Yeah, she might
She's got a different personality now.
Yeah, she's going to get that CT, whatever that shit's called.
CTE?
Yeah, CTE. She's going to get all aggro all of a
Oh,
sudden.
no.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
What the fuck?
that's fucking terrifying.
I never
dude.
want to play baseball with my son again. I'm literally traumatized.
Yeah.
Talk
I
about triggering fucking PTSD symptoms. Like, my body went straight into fight or flight, and it has been there ever since. And I've been working to like calm myself down. So like anytime my kids are like, I'm like, what's up? Whose head is caving in?
bet. Oh, God.
So yeah, almost killed my dog.
Oh, God.
She kudo.
She kudo. She's like,
All right. Do you want to hear my case today?
I sure do.
Can I just tell you guys that I have never been more eager to share a story with you guys because it has consumed my entire week of life in terms of research.
Hell
and it's pretty popular in fucking pop culture or whatever you want to call it, true crime culture right
Ooh.
now. Because it's an ongoing like there's a trial happening right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Uh-oh.
Right now.
Uh-oh.
About this case. And it's like all over TikTok and everything, right?
Oh, okay.
And so I actually had picked this case for Patreon like 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad I didn't because there's so much more information now.
Yeah.
And then our friend Tiffany and Kevin, they were asking us if we had heard about this case, and I was like, "Ooh, girl, I'm gonna cover it. Like, since you guys are interested, let's do it." So this one's for Tiff and Kev,
Hey.
and you, because holy fucking shit,
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm gonna tell you about Officer John O'Keefe.
O'Keefe. Okay.
Do you recognize the name?
No, they had sent these TikToks, and I think I may have seen something about it.
There's no way you
point.
haven't seen anything.
There's probably no way. I may have seen something about it at one point, but then they were like, look into this, blah, blah, blah. They sent me a bunch of TikToks, or they sent us a bunch of TikToks and stuff. And I was like, totally going to do that. And then I forgot.
Well, and I told you not to because I was like, I'm gonna cover it. Don't look at it.
Well, even before that, because they had texted me separate.
Oh,
Because I was like, send it over, blah, blah, blah. And so they text me separate, and
I'm
they
so
were
glad
like,
you didn't
this
look
is
at
what
it.
I think. And I hadn't like read everything yet. And I forgot because I was partaking.
Good.
And so I didn't. And then in the morning, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to look at that tonight. And then that day, you were like, don't look at it. And I was like, I'm not going to look at it.
I'm so glad you didn't. And also, I had seen I didn't click on any TikToks she sent. I don't know if she sent us any in the group text, but I had already been seeing TikToks everywhere, and I thought I knew the fucking case.
Yeah.
I did not know the case.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
I did not. You guys. You fucking guys. And
You
also, I'm
guys.
just going to, before I even get into this, I'm going to say disclaimer that since this is an ongoing trial, like every day new information comes out. So if you listen to this in the future and you're like, this is not complete, they suck. We do. And it's probably not even up until this point. But
Accurate,
but
however.
just know I gave it my fucking all to get as much information that I could find.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or at least tell you guys the whole story. And then, like, some of it is, like, you could go into detail forever on this shit. By the way, the whole trial is publicized. You can go on and watch all the days. We're on, like, day 18 or something. And it's expected to be, like, an 8-week trial. So you can go back and watch all this and obviously get way more information. But for me to get what I got for you guys, I had to literally watch the trial. Not all 18 days, but like whenever I would pick somebody to like hone in on their story, I'd go watch it and I'd get so much more information.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Because there's not really like one place where you can go to get everything that's happened so far in detail.
Yeah.
You can get most of it, but then like a lot of key shit is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my very, very, very best. And if you guys are impressed, please let me know because I literally spent a week of my life. And if you're not impressed, you can also let me know. So then I know to knock my fucking 2 down a bit. Like, Stacey, you're not that good.
Hey, listen, you could have gone with a 2-day and
Yeah.
it would have been just the same.
Yeah, right? Like, you did not. This shit is 10 pages long, and normally my stories are 4. So
my gosh.
we are about to have a long episode. But anyway, okay, so let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
So there's like no before times that I have, and don't worry, we don't need them.
Good.
That's kind of mean to say about our victim, but I don't mean it in a mean way. I just mean like there's enough for everybody here. So our story takes place in Canton, Massachusetts, which is part of Boston.
That's
Aaron
where
and
my
your-
mom grew up.
Is it in Canton or Boston?
Well, my mom grew up in Canton.
Shut
or
the
she,
fuck
she
up!
was like born in Canton or something.
Shut the fuck up! Aaron, I need to know everything you know.
I don't know anything.
Your dead mom needs to fucking appear as an apparition right now and tell me everything she needs to know. Because from what I get, this sounds like a small town. It's gotta be a small town.
Yeah.
Because everybody fucking knows everybody.
It's a small town, and their driveway was like a 1/4 mile long or something. And my mom was
shit.
like, I used to have to back out of this driveway. And then
She moved into another 1/4 mile long driveway she had to back out of up a hill.
right? This bitch had a thing for driveways.
That bitch.
Yeah.
Do any of her siblings remember anybody from the town still?
I'm positive. Yeah.
fucking Aaron.
I'm positive.
You need to ask them everything after this, okay?
Okay.
Because there's so many names. What if they know everybody?
I mean, okay. Yeah.
okay.
I'll just do a screenshot of just all the names. Do you recognize
I'll
everyone
just
on
send
this
you all
list?
my notes and you remove all the bullshit.
Oh, God.
Or just send it to him and be like, sorry if there's cuss words in there. Okay. So, Canton, Massachusetts, that's where this all takes place.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have much about the before times for John O'Keefe, but I do know that in 2022, he was in his early 40s and he had been a police officer for 16 years.
Okay.
A few years prior, in 2013, John's sister, Kristen, he had a sister and a younger brother, Paul, and they're all really close, tight family, right? So his sister,
Kristen, Paul, and John are all very Massachusetts names.
Is
by the
it?
way.
Is it? Oh my God. All of these fucking names are the most basic names ever.
I had a grandpa Paul, an uncle John, and a cousin Kristen.
Jesus titty fucking Christ. What if these are all your family members?
I think I'd heard about it.
You think? I don't know. Your mom's dead. Maybe it's like a family secret.
They're like, keep her out of it. She doesn't need to fucking know.
She's too shady. All right. So his sister, Kristen, who had 2 children at this time, they were, I think, 3 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So very small children. She passed away from a brain tumor. Only 2 months after that, her husband passed away from a fucking heart attack.
Oh, shit. That sucks.
So those 2 kids were orphaned.
Oh, no.
And they're John's niece and nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And so John decided to give up the bachelor life, step up, and take over caring for these kids.
Wow.
Yeah. And he even transferred his position to a more safer position within the police force because he was like, these kids have lost enough parental figures in their life. They don't need that shit anymore, right?
Wow, what a guy.
I know. So there is some, like stories from family and friends and stuff basically saying like, he did the best he could. He did everything he could. I mean, he was a bachelor all of a sudden becoming
A dad of 2.
Yeah. And it sounds like maybe he could have used a little more support from the family, but didn't really ask for it. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Sounds
here.
like a mid-40s
Right.
Massachusetts
Right.
Boston guy.
Right, exactly.
Police officer.
Every fucking person in this story is like Massachusetts, Boston, police officer kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like they almost look like a meathead or something. You're like, I don't know what's going on, but I really like you and I really hate you at the same time. Like
Yeah.
I want to fucking have beers with you and joke around, but also for anything serious, I want to punch you in your face because you're so goddamn arront.
Yeah. That's
Sorry if there's any Boston, Massachusetts police officers. At least you know how we all feel about you.
all of my
first.
family. It's not really my family, but all of like my dad's friends out there. And I'm like, you're a lot of fun.
Yeah, like a fucking riot, but also like I'm scared of you.
But, like,
you're
Jesus.
a wild card too.
Can you take it down a notch? I have kids here.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So that's what happens in 2013. He becomes basically a dad overnight.
Okay.
So cut back to 2022. The kids are now 16 and 13, and John O'Keefe is dating a woman by the name of Karen Reed. She's also in her early 40s.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, you're not my real mom
Yeah, fuck you.
or dad.
Yeah, none of you guys are my real anything.
I don't even have to be here.
Now, in the weeks leading up to January 22nd, that's just to give us a timeline. We're in January 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Weeks leading up to there, friends and families close to the couple, to John and Karen, they say that they had been arguing a lot, like more than usual.
Okay.
And at one point, according to his niece and nephew who lived in the house, John told Karen, like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know if he fucking cussed. They were yelling at each other. Like, there was a verbal altercation.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you get on out of here. And she refused to leave. So we got like a stage 5 clinger.
Okay.
This is John's house. And he's like, you need to leave. And she's like, absolutely not.
Uh-oh.
And so the niece and nephew are like, they had trouble leading like up until January 22nd, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to January 28th, 2022. It was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
John, Karen, a fellow police officer by the name of Brian Albert, his sister-in-law, Jennifer McCabe, and some other friends that I'm not going to name everybody off.
Okay.
Big group of fucking people. They go out drinking at a bar called C.F. McCarthy's Bar.
Okay.
You're like, I know that bar.
I've been there.
On this particular night, Boston was experiencing a winter storm, and it was basically a blizzard.
No.
Yeah, it was like blizzard-like conditions, and they were like, hey, y'all, let's go get fucking plastic.
Y'all want to go drinking?
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
warm up these old bones.
Uh-huh. Who's got the whiskey?
All right.
They all hang out, drinking, they're having a good time, and around 11 p.m., the group heads across the street to another bar that's called the Waterfall Bar and Grill.
Also fun.
I know. And they all hang out for about an hour, and they're drinking, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
There's security footage of that night of Karen and John, and they're embracing, and they look like a normal couple all night long. Like, it does not look like they are arguing or anything.
Okay.
But we do know that it sounds like they had some shit in the past.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would say that they almost look like lovey-dovey. Like, they look like that cute couple. Like, aw.
Like, they got over it. This
Yeah.
is their makeup
Exactly.
day.
During the drinking escapade, at one point in the night, two of the friends in the party at the Waterfall Grill, a man by the name of Brian Albert,
Mm-hmm.
that police officer, right? And then another Brian by the name of Brian Higgins. They're seen on security footage kind of like roughhousing or play wrestling or play fighting. Dude, these are like fucking late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s. I don't know, grown ass motherfucking men.
I can't wait till you come with me to Massachusetts because you're going to be like, this makes sense.
I love that. I'm like, what the actual fuck? I watch the security footage and I'm like, if that were my friends, I'd be like, what the fuck are you guys are going to get us kicked out of here. Stop.
No, I'm like, that's like my uncles.
Just fucking giving a good old wrestle in the back, like while
know.
everybody's at the bar drinking.
Like, everybody's so like, yeah. They're very rowdy and hands-on.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that in the footage where I'm like appalled. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
We are
people.
in public.
Sit down at the fucking bar. Yeah, I would never. I'd be like, we're going to get kicked out. In San Diego, you'd get kicked out.
Yeah.
Even if you were just play fucking around.
Yeah.
They'd be like, we're not about that shit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But also, you know, bigger city.
Yeah.
Fucking come with guns and shit.
They're like, we're a bar and grill and it's 11 p.m. Like, you're our only customers.
Yeah, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So just imagine like two giant police officers roughhousing. They're like bears of men. They're big men. They are like, when we were in high school, you'd be like, that's a dad borderline grandpa. Like, they are too old to be doing this, in my own fucking personal opinion.
Yeah.
So around midnight, just to give you an idea of what the night was like, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're having a great old time. There's a blizzard outside.
Yeah.
But they don't give a fuck.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
Just
nothing to
gonna
worry
walk
about.
home
Just a great night.
or
Morning-
drive, whatever.
Yeah, no, they all drive, just so you know. They
Well,
all fucking drive, all right?
They are police officers.
I guess it's Boston. I don't fucking
They're
know.
above the law.
This whole thing is because they are police officers and above the law, okay?
That's so scary.
So, around midnight, the whole group leaves the bar and they decide to go back to Brian Albert's house.
Okay.
Let me say his name normally, Brian Albert.
Brian Albert.
So they go back to Brian Albert's house, and he was located on 34 Fairview Road. You're
Okay.
going to need to know this location.
Okay.
So his house there,
That's a fair view.
has a Fairview. I didn't see any motherfucking view.
You have to go to his top story.
Yeah, probably. I guess that night, Brian was like, hey, everybody come back to my house. Let's continue the party. Let's keep this fucking rager going. And so,
Yeah.
like, not only the people that were at the bar and grill went to his house, but, like, other people showed up later, too. So it was like,
Party.
yeah, I don't know if it was like a fucking high school party or anything, but there was a lot of people coming and going.
Yeah.
The whole group had been drinking like very heavily that night.
Mm-hmm.
John had been drinking beer and Karen had been drinking vodka. And John was too drunk to drive, so Karen drove.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, Karen was likely too drunk to drive also.
Mm-hmm.
So there was I don't want to tell you everything yet because I haven't told you the full story, but basically there's a point when they do draw her blood and get her blood alcohol level and they backtrack it and they estimate that her blood alcohol level was 0.13 to 0.29
God damn.
when she was driving. I will tell you that there's a caveat on that number. But just to give you, to set the scene. Like everybody's drinking, everybody's driving.
Yeah. 0.08 is the legal limit for anybody who doesn't know that.
Yeah, so that's like way above the legal limit.
Yeah, that's real drunk.
Yeah, like you're drunk. And then also Karen is like this petite woman. Like she looks like a skinny little cute 40-year-old lady that cares about her appearance. Okay, so she was wearing high heels and a blizzard.
Oh, God.
Yeah, one of those.
What a nightmare.
So Karen claims that she dropped John off at Brian Albert's house around that time, like when everybody left, but that she didn't go to continue the party because her stomach was hurting. So she decided to drive back to John's house. Jennifer McCabe, the sister-in-law of Brian Albert, and she was also at the bar with the crew, she came back to Brian's house to party and claims that at around 12:30, she saw Karen's dark SUV pull up. She had a black Lexus SUV kind of thing.
Lucky.
Fucking right. Jennifer McCabe says that at Brian Albert's house, she saw Karen pull up at 12:30 that night, parked for about 15 minutes. She says that no one got in or out of the car, and nobody saw John O'Keefe or Karen Reed enter Brian Albert's house. So they just say Karen was parked out there for 15 minutes, and then she drove away.
Okay.
And there's kind of a weird time frame. It's not like exactly at 12:30. They're like between 12:15 and 12:30, we saw somebody out there for 15 minutes. During that 15-minute time.
Nobody went out to the front to be like, are you guys coming inside?
Nobody. But I think that there was like a kind of a lot of people.
And there's a blizzard. So
Right.
Be like, I'll wait for them to come in. I
Exactly.
guess. Okay. Fair.
And I kind of think that anybody who saw anything was also people that were coming into the house. So they might not have known that they weren't in the house. And then they got inside and they were like, that's weird. Why are they out there?
Or like, oh, they're here. Yeah, they had come up before us or whatever. Like, oh, I saw them out there. Yeah, they're here.
Yeah. Like, and I don't know if it was because there's just so many people they didn't really recognize whose car it was, who belonged to what or what. I don't know. But nobody really questioned it. They were just like, oh, she was here for 15 minutes and then she was gone.
Okay.
Karen says that, obviously she admits to being drunk. And at first she says, like, she didn't really remember dropping him off at Brian's house. Like, I'm speculating that maybe she was like blackout. The next morning when you're like,
I should not have driven.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, did we do that? And then as soon as you start talking, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got, the vibe I got from it. But so she doesn't really remember dropping him off at Brian's house. And she thought that the last time that she had left him was at the waterfall. Like, oh, I left him at the waterfall because I wasn't feeling good. At least that's what she tells a friend, like, in the morning.
Okay.
So at some point in the early morning hours, Karen starts to freak out that John isn't home yet. And she starts worrying that maybe something bad has happened to him. Now, this is like probably 5 in the morning, a little before 5 in the morning. Okay. She like wakes up, probably is still drunk.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, why didn't he come home last night? I'm worried about him. And she started to like pace around the house. And the niece and nephew later testify that she had said something along the lines of, actually several people testify, that she had said something along the lines of like, I might have hit him. What if I hit him and he's injured out there and I don't remember hitting him? Like, what if I hurt him? Or what if a snowplow ran him over or something? Like, we need to go find him. Like, she was like hysterical looking for him.
Okay.
And she was super worried that something bad had happened. So Karen eventually wakes up John's niece and asks her to call John because she had tried calling John and he wasn't answering.
Yeah.
So she's like, maybe he'll answer for you. Like, maybe we got in a fight. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Maybe we got in a fight. Maybe we're fighting now.
Yeah, I don't know. So at 5:53 a.m., either the niece or Karen reaches out to Jennifer McCabe, and that's Brian Albert's sister-in-law, the one who says she saw the SUV outside. And says like, hey, have you seen John or anything like that since last night? And she's like, no, I didn't see him come back or anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And so at 5 a.m., she goes and picks up a friend by the name of Carrie Roberts and Jennifer McCabe to go look for John because she's so concerned. And she's like, will you please come help me look for him? Carrie, the friend in the car, claims that when Karen got to her at 5 a.m., that she said, quote, "John's dead. I wonder if he's dead. It's snowing. He got hit by a plow." That's like the quote from the testimony or whatever. I don't know if that was like in a police report or whatever, but she was talking about like, he's probably dead. Something terrible has happened. Like, she was like almost hysterical. Like, everybody was like, chill the fuck out. Like, he's a grown adult. It'll be okay. So at 6 a.m., the trio pull up to his last known location, which was Brian Albert's home. And there in the front yard, in the snow, is John O'Keefe laying unresponsive. And there's just bloody snow everywhere. And there's even snow on him. Like, he's kind of covered in snow because it had been blizzarding, snowing. So Karen jumps out and immediately starts administering CPR, and the police are called.
Oh, my God.
I know. So
outside, just fucking laying there?
Just laying there, bloody. When the police arrive, they see that Karen is covered in John's blood all over her face from doing the CPR, and she was hysterical. And there's like dash cam footage, and you can't hear her or anything, but you see her pacing. Like, she's like in and out of the camera, like holding her hand, you know, like just looks distressed. Like, you know, when you don't know how to sit still and you're like, oh my fucking God, what is going on? So that's what she looked like. Allegedly, according to a medic at the scene, Karen repeatedly said over and over again, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. That's another quote, like 4 I hit hims. Like, she's just going, oh, fuck, I fucking hit him, I hit him, I hit him. That's what I was afraid of, that I accidentally hit him and I left him dead out here. And that's what happened. And oh no. So Karen explains that she did not recall being at Brian Albert's home when she dropped John off and where he was later found dead. She's like, I don't remember being here, but I must have hit him. Like, I feel like I might have hit him or something.
Oh, my God.
Which I'm like, girl, someone needs to shut you the fuck up. Like, if you were my bestie, I'd be like, don't say that shit.
Don't say that shit.
We could talk about it later. And if you really think that's it, we'll talk about get your lawyer.
That's all I'm thinking about, too, is like, you know, when you think the worst of things, like I say it all the time, like, oh, we're going to die. This guy's dead. Like, whatever. He almost died. This almost, whatever.
You got to be so careful.
Right? Imagine.
Yeah.
The shit that comes out of my mouth that would come on to, like, and in testimony, she said, what if I had slit his fucking throat?
Yeah, like intrusive thoughts out loud.
Yeah,
Don't say those out loud.
Oh, God.
Not when there's a body on the ground.
That's scary. Well, she didn't know there was a body before, you know?
Right. But then now she's like, this is solidifying it.
Yeah.
And she even talked to her dad. Now, I don't have the source for this. I think I had watched like a little clip of like them recapping what was going on, like a news station or whatever. But the dad had said something along the lines of like, she even told him, like, I think I'm scared I might have hit him.
Oh, my God.
And then they go digging for evidence to prove it or not. And the dad finds something interesting, which I'll tell you about.
Ooh.
So
the other part of it is she's trying to solve the fucking mystery, too.
Right.
She's
drunk. Like, this makes sense. I don't remember driving him home and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Or I don't remember driving him to Brian Albert's house and now he's dead.
Yeah.
So she's really upset. And she's like talking about killing herself and all this other shit. Like, she's hysterical.
Yeah.
And so they calm her down and they transport her to the Good Samaritan Hospital along with John O'Keefe, obviously. So they're going to the Good Samaritan Hospital. Unfortunately, John was pronounced dead at 7:59 a.m. because paramedics were unable to like warm him up and revive him. They tried, and it did not work.
God.
Obviously, an investigation ensues.
Yeah.
2 police officers, Sergeant Good and Lieutenant Gallagher, were assigned to the case and processing the crime scene. The next steps, basically everything from here on out, is fucking beyond upsetting.
Is it because it's cops investigating a cop's murder, and so they're like, everything here checks out?
1,000%. It's, Erin, it is literally insane, and it makes me wonder how often this happens. Because
every time.
It's like as if you and I were, it's not even as if it's like if our husbands were processing a crime scene. It's not like you and I could have done a better job than these police officers, and I'll tell you why. So, there was no crime scene tape. Everybody was everywhere. Did not fucking matter. It was not treated like a crime scene at all. It was just like, oh, fucking here's John, whatever. So, and even though she's screaming like, I hit him, whatever, and the police are thinking like, oh, she must have fucking hit him, either accidentally or intentionally, they did not secure shit. So one of the officers used a fucking leaf blower all around where John had been discovered to like blow the snow out of the way so they could see if there was any evidence in the snow. Just a fucking leaf blower. Like, hey, get that leaf blower out of the garage. Like, that could have been footprints. That could have been anything. I don't know. You could have like taken a fucking picture before you did that. I don't know.
A leaf blower?
A leaf blower,
you're like,
girl.
you're going to fuck up the evidence. You're going to leaf blow the evidence away.
Dude.
There go all the cigarette butts.
In trial, they were like, have you ever once used a leaf blower at a crime scene? And he was like, never once. Like, what? Why? Who was like, I have an idea. Let's use a leaf blower. In my opinion, I'm like, the only reason you would do that is to disturb the scene on purpose, intentionally.
Right.
I also do understand trying to sift through the snow to see stuff because, like, we've lost keys in snow and shit, but it wasn't a fucking crime scene, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the snow will eventually melt and we can find some things.
Yeah.
Or let's take a picture. Let's process this the correct way. Don't just
like,
fucking leaf blow it.
Close it off. Like, I don't know, somehow melt the snow, you know? Then it won't move it all around.
Check for tracks. You know, do whatever you got to do to be like, okay, it was fresh snow everywhere, and here's the body. Here's a picture so you can see. I don't know. Maybe they have that, but fucking homie leaf blowed this shit. They also used an old paper bag and some red Solo cups, and they collected bloody snow as, quote, evidence. But they didn't use any
paper bag.
Paper bag, girl. Paper
Do they
bag.
understand
there
how that
were
works?
6 Solo cups in the bottom of the paper bag, and inside of the Solo cups, you could see bloody snow in like 3 of them. That's like an evidence photo that you can see. And
Okay, the cups, a good idea.
you
know?
think? Because
Well,
I'm
you
like,
could melt it
I'm
or
like,
whatever.
if I'm going to process a crime scene, perhaps I should use the evidence bags and collection devices that they provide for me to make it
Okay.
a secure crime scene.
I was assuming maybe they didn't have that.
They fucking were dispatched there. That is their job.
Yeah.
Like, they probably have that shit in the cruiser, don't
they
you
gotta
think?
have evidence cups, right?
Like, at least a urine cup or something you
Yeah.
could scoop it into that has a fucking seal and a label so you could say what that is,
Exhibit
what,
A.
yeah, what date it was collected.
Yeah.
None of that shit. It was just blood in a Solo cup in a bag. The bag didn't have any evidence tape on it. So nothing was dated. You could have just been any picture from any bag. You know, like, you don't know who's in. There's
The
no,
fuck?
it was not collected correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's not gonna last.
The Solo cups also were borrowed from a neighbor. Like, the police were like, hey, man, you got any of those Solo cups? They did not come prepared. And you could even, it's fucking freezing outside. You could be like, hey, man, will you run back to the station?
Yeah.
That's like 15 minutes away and go
Yeah.
get what we need?
Yeah.
I'll make sure nobody comes here.
Yeah. I'll close off the crime scene.
And I guess everybody was there. Like, they called back everybody from the party to the house when John was found.
Why?
So everybody's back at the crime scene. Because they're all fucking buddies. They're all cops. They're all friends. They're probably all
God.
corroborating stories right now.
Yeah, and getting leaf blowers out.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, you have to admit from this point only that this is not a good investigation so far.
No.
This is being fucked up, whether intentionally or just out of absolute. These men have been in the force for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
20 years almost, 15 years, 10 years. They know
Yeah.
how to do the job correctly. And it later comes out that all these fucking officers are really close friends. Like, really close friends.
Yeah.
Okay?
And maybe a little hungover.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if those 2 officers were actually at the party or anything. But
Okay.
maybe, because they're all
Ooh,
fucking drunk
uninvited.
anyway.
They're like, whatever, I'll just use a fucking Solo cup for your blood then. You didn't invite me.
fucking matter. You didn't invite me. So, they discover, with the leaf blowing efforts, that there were broken pieces of a cocktail glass that actually John had been drinking from that night, which is interesting because he was drinking beer. But okay. There's actually surveillance footage of the Waterfall Bar and Grill of them leaving, and it looks like John has a glass in his hand.
Like, he fucking took it.
He took it. He was like, this shit's mine now.
The restaurant is like, we're going to bill you for 1 cocktail glass.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking was, like, Karen probably realized she was driving and was like, finish my drink for me. You know? That's what I do to Lee all the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it were a cocktail glass.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's leaving the bar with a glass. It's caught on footage, and that same glass is broken at the crime scene. They also discover 3 pieces of red plastic, which happen to be consistent with Karen Reed's taillight, which just so happens to also be busted when they find it, which is at Karen Reed's parents' house. Like, she drove her car to her parents' house. I don't know if she was just being there for support or whatever, but they go and confiscate her car that morning.
Yeah.
And because they find the broken taillights, they go get her car. They see that there's a broken taillight. So they're like, this supports evidence that she backed into him. Like, there's broken taillight pieces.
Or, like, he had chucked the glass at her taillight or something, and, like, they both shattered, you know?
Oh,
like if he was
I like
outside
that theory.
and
I
was
was
like, get the fuck out of here.
Doyle rules, bitch.
Yeah,
Maybe.
or whatever.
That's a good theory. That's some good aim. Do you think he ever played baseball?
I mean, he might not have been aiming for the taillight. He might have been aiming for the fucking rearview mirror or the fucking, what is that, back windshield.
I like that. I like that theory.
What is that called?
The back windshield? The back rear, the...
Back window? It's just a window.
Your
It's not a
rear-
windshield, I guess.
Your rear
Window?
what is that called?
I don't know. I think
Does
it's
it
just
have
a
a name?
back window.
Just window. The window in the back.
The big back window. Maybe
That-
he was aiming for that and he hit a taillight, you know? I don't know.
That could be because there were also scratches.
Ooh.
So, like I said, the police go, they get the SUV, whatever. They have the car impounded and they search it.
Yeah.
They discover that her right passenger side taillight just so happened to be busted out and it matches the pieces that were found at the scene. So it is her taillight at the scene. Additionally, the vehicle had scratches on the back bumper, which I kind of like your cocktail theory. I haven't heard that one yet, just so you know. Nobody is even fucking caring about the cocktail glass that I know of. I haven't researched anything further other than you saw it in his hand.
Yeah.
I've seen a picture of her car, like of the broken taillight, and allegedly the scratches, they had like little white stickers next to the scratches. I couldn't see shit. It wasn't like it was dented. It wasn't like, oh wow, yeah, something happened. It just looked like a broken, like a taillight was out. Not even the taillight was out. It was just like the casing was broken.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that sounds like a bit of a stretch. Because when you read it, you're like, holy fucking shit, that's some solid evidence. And then when you actually see it, you're like, I feel like it was exaggerated.
Yeah. Like maybe.
Everything in this case is like that, though.
Mm.
So I hope I'm not over-exaggerating something that I don't know about because all I have is access to information that the web has, right?
That's all of our stories.
Exactly. So an autopsy was performed on John O'Keefe, and they discovered that John O'Keefe had a bunch of abrasions on his right arm. He had 2 black eyes.
Ooh.
They made the autopsy photos like public so you can see them. His eyelids are so swollen and they're so purple and like you could see blood coming out like it's a bloody tear that like dripped on his face.
What the fuck?
Like his eyes were fucked. Like I don't think you could open them.
Why?
John had a 2 to 3 inch laceration on the back of his head and multiple skull fractures. Multiple. And hypothermia was believed to be a contributing factor in his death, right? Because he was in the snow.
Assuming whatever that blow to the back of the head was didn't kill him, hypothermia is going to get you.
Right. Like, I was wondering if his eyes were so purple, like his eyelids were so purple from a head injury.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we're going to go with the car theory that she backed into him, she would have had to been going at least 25 miles an hour to cause the kind of damage, which for me, I'm like...
I've never once backed up at
25 miles an hour.
I've never once backed up at 25 miles an hour. Yeah.
You have to gun it. Like,
Yeah.
I've been paying attention when I back out of my driveway, and I'm trying to gun it just to see how fast I can get it, and I get like 10 miles an hour. And that's even like, ugh. The house was on, Brian Albert's house was on a fairly straight road. So you could, if you wanted to, but you'd have to like be driving down the road and then be like, fuck him, and then slam it and have a good amount of way to reach 25 miles an hour to hit him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you would think if that was their theory, they'd be like, look, there's tire tracks in the snow here.
Or, yeah, squeal marks or like
Right. Something.
burn marks, whatever.
Somebody heard something.
Also, if you're going to, was he like kind of towards the house? Because if you're backing up at 25 miles an hour and he's just like on the bank there, aren't you like almost going to hit the house?
He seemed like he was on the edge of the property of the home.
Like out front?
Yeah,
on the
like
edge?
out front on the edge of the property.
Near the curb or something, maybe?
Kind of closer to the curb. I don't know exactly, but they keep referencing this flagpole in all of the testimony. And there is a flagpole on the edge of the property. Like she pulled up and parked maybe with her car at like facing the flagpole area.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been where she let him out.
Okay.
It could match up to the story.
Mm-hmm. And then
I
she's
just
like, I'm
have a
going to
hard
go.
Yeah. And then like, and he happened to still be there. And you would have to turn a little to get him on the side of the road unless she hit him so hard he flew over there.
Yeah.
And then she just drove away. So that wouldn't have to be intentional. You couldn't accidentally back up and cause that kind of damage to someone. I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless he was so drunk he fell so hard like a fucking sack of potatoes. I don't know. I don't know.
He could have, I guess.
Yeah.
Like just fainted or something and fallen on his fucking head.
And maybe that's why. I was wondering if maybe that's why his eyes were so purple.
I think any head injury would
Could cause swollen eyes.
Yeah,
they
it
were
could cause black eyes.
swollen. Like he couldn't open them. So then I'm like, it could be fucking getting socked in the face too.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. You think they could tell that in an autopsy,
right.
like by broken blood vessels or something,
Right. Like follow him.
right? I don't know. So they don't. I haven't found any information on that anyway. On John's death certificate, the cause of death is listed as blunt impact injuries of the head and hypothermia.
Okay. Impact injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Not force trauma, huh?
However, the manner of death is listed as could not be determined. So we don't know if it was like
Suspicious.
homicide.
Yeah.
Time of death was 12:45. So that would line up with around when allegedly Karen would have been dropping him off and everything if she ran him over and then drove away. So, like we said, we don't know if this is an accident or homicide, intentional, whatever. Around 9 a.m. the morning after John was found, Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert's sister-in-law, she called the police back to the home where John was discovered, and she told them that when they were driving around looking for Brian, Karen said, I hope I didn't hit him. Like, she called the cops back to be like, hey, I heard her saying this at the scene also, and I just want to make sure you got this. She was saying that she hit him. Fucking snitch.
Honestly.
So, based on all the witness reports to police, no one from the party that night ever confirmed that they saw John O'Keefe enter Brian Albert's home. In fact, they all say that the last time that they actually saw him was back at the bar. Everybody at the party. And there was lots of people. With the taillight pieces being at the scene and John looking all beat up and the broken cocktail glass and everything next to John, the police speculate that since Karen and John were having rocky times with their relationship, they must have gotten into an argument that night, and Karen must have either accidentally or purposefully backed into John, running him over and seriously injuring him before driving away and leaving him to die in the cold. So that's where the police investigation is going. So police theorize that John never even had a chance to enter the home and join the party, and somehow no one noticed his body in the front yard. And they all left at 1:30 in the morning. So he would have been like a blob on the front lawn when everybody left and nobody saw him.
Okay. For at least 45 minutes.
Right. Almost an hour.
Oh, my God.
On February 1st, 2022, Karen was arrested for charges on manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene of a deadly crash.
Oh, my God.
Holy fucking shit.
Well, can you really charge her for leaving the scene of a deadly crash? She was drunk. If she was drunk. She doesn't remember leaving.
Right.
She didn't make a choice to leave.
I guess you can, though. I'm sure drunk people get charged with that all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know.
I feel like you're just heaping it on at this point.
Girl, it gets better. So Karen gets arrested. She posts her $50,000 bond.
Jesus.
I know. And she was released and awaiting her trial.
Yeah.
During this time, the prosecution changes the charges to second-degree murder. Like, they have a fucking trial with a grand jury or whatever to say, hey, we present this evidence and we want to charge her with second-degree murder instead. Like, we can prove that we think that this shit was intentional.
Wow.
It wasn't an accident, but that she did this shit on purpose.
Oh, my God.
And the grand jury agrees based on the evidence presented. They're like, yep, we think so too. Change that shit to fucking second-degree manslaughter.
Oh, my God.
So,
second-degree murder?
Sorry, murder. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, there's a second degree to manslaughter?
The first degree to murder. My bad.
But wow, okay.
So on June 9th, 2022, Karen Reed gets arrested again, and she's indicted on second-degree murder charges. The judge sets her bail to $100,000, and she posts that.
God damn.
These motherfucking rich bitches.
Or, bail bonds.
Right?
Fucking hopeful over here.
Oh, God, it's worth your freedom.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. So, before the trial date was established, there had been so many rumors and speculations swirling around this town. Karen's defense alleges that she's being framed in an elaborate cover-up by the police because she's a convenient outsider to place the blame on.
Fair.
Her defense argues that the evidence show that Brian was actually severely beaten, and perhaps his injuries were more consistent with that as opposed to a vehicle accident. So,
well, and they were roughhousing in the bar. Are they the kind of guys to like beat each other up or whatever? Or like have a little fight
you
club?
did say that seems to be what happens in Boston.
They're all massholes, right?
That's what it sounds like. So,
oh, God.
So John had two really black eyes, bruising on his hands as if he had fought back defending himself.
Oh. Well,
from,
no,
like,
that's
punches.
Interesting.
If you're blocking punches or something, you're going to throw up your hand. That might get a bruise on it.
Well, if you're going to hit someone back, that'll punch your hand. Well,
Yeah, but
that'll
it didn't
bruise
look like
your
his
hand.
knuckles were bruised. It was like the top of his hand. You know, like where you would write a note to remind yourself of something. That's where the bruises were. And there was one that was maybe like the size of a $50 and pretty dark. That looks like it fucking hurts if that just happened and you're in the snow and you died pretty quickly. You know,
Yeah.
like that's a quick bruise to form. And then there was another one on the other hand that looked lighter. But also, fucking light bruises hurt too. So I don't know, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But his hand, it looked to me like defense wounds. The lacerations on his right arm, they more closely resembled, this is the defense's argument, that they more closely resembled dog bite marks as
Ooh.
opposed to injuries that you would see from a vehicle accident.
What? How
So,
do you dog bite marks?
They-
Is it broken?
yeah, so the skin kind of looks like pointed scratches to me. I will show you a picture right now. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I do.
Since we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
What are you Googling?
John O'Keefe autopsy. It's like a square of 6 photos.
Uh-huh.
Zoom in if you need to. Zoom in. But look at the eyes. Okay, so, but then the arm scratches.
Those are fucking aggressive arm scratches.
They're aggressive arm scratches, and don't they kind of look like pointed on one side and then like drug out on the other?
They do.
So if you Google dog bite marks, they look exactly the same.
Well, no, he could have been like chewed on by a dog while he was laying there.
Do you see that one that has like 2 and then one on the bottom? It looks like as if a teeth were clamping together, and then there's a gap, like if the skin had folded over.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that seems consistent with a dog bite.
But the 2 and then the 1, those look too close together to me.
For like teeth?
Yeah.
What if it's like these 2?
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
I could pull up or Google dog bite marks later or injuries or whatever, and they were very similar. But I also don't know what like backing over a human body would look like. Like
right.
if you were drug or something, and he didn't have a jacket on, but it looked like he had like a sweater or something. At least in the videos at the bar. So plausible to me anyway. Reasonable doubt in my mind.
They're very strange marks.
Right?
To have, like, that's not a hit. They're like puncture scratches.
They're weird.
Like puncture scratch.
Yeah.
Or,
Like there's a pointy part and like a bigger part.
Yeah.
Either it trailed off is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking for the pointy part. I don't know. I'm not
Like,
fucking...
it's claws or teeth or something pointy, something sharp.
weird. Or think about when my dogs paw you with their claws and then you get that mark. But these look like, ouch. Like they don't just look like a little scrape. They look like a fucking cut.
No, they're deep. Yeah.
Okay, so the defense is like, that looks more like dog bite marks as opposed to injuries you'd see from a vehicle accident. They also note that Brian Albert actually has very close connections with the Canton Police Department as well as the Massachusetts State Police. That's not that surprising. Like, they're all in the fucking police department.
Yeah.
These are the 2 leading investigating forces on this case. So if something bad had happened to John at Brian's house and he's buddies with everybody investigating it, I could see a cover up easily.
Yeah,
That'd be like
yeah.
if I was investigating a crime on you, I'd be like, yeah, like give me that leap blow real quick.
Yeah, I didn't see much.
It totally looks like she fucking backed him up. Yeah. I fucking see it.
Yeah. Let's
Aaron, you keep your mouth shut.
sprinkle some taillight over here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so already kind of like this seems like a conflict of interest here.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
If nothing else, you know.
So Karen's whole argument is that they were involved in a large-scale cover-up for the murder of John, possibly at the hands of Brian Albert or someone else in the force that was at that home that night, that everybody's just keeping their mouth shut to protect each other.
Yeah, I don't know who fucking did it, but it wasn't me.
Right. In fact, she gets so vocal about her strong belief that this is a setup that she starts talking publicly to the media about it. And so prosecutors petition to have a gag order placed on her to ensure a fair trial. Like, we don't want to fucking taint the jury. And the gag order gets denied because the judge is like, you're talking shit about her, man. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so they deny it. And this gets us to around the end of July in 2023. So last year.
Okay.
By the end of August 2023, the DA in this case, Michael Morrissey, he issues a public video statement outside of court condemning the defense's claims, which is highly unusual for a DA to do during an active trial.
Yeah.
Or they don't have a date yet, but it's like an active investigation still. And so since Karen's taking to the media, he's like, this fucking Morrissey dude, this Michael Morrissey dude, he's like, all right, listen up. I'm going to go up and I'm going to fucking do my own little video and I'm going to load it. And he says that all of the witnesses that are being questioned, quote, certainly did not commit a murder or any crime that night. He's going on public record being like, she's wrong. The DA is like, nope. She's lying to you. Nobody at the party did anything wrong. They're all innocent.
How can he be so sure?
How can you be so sure, Michael? So he's trying to combat what Karen is saying.
Yeah, but then you're going into the public and this person of authority is going into the public and being like, here's all these facts that I'm telling you are facts based on my opinion.
100%. And this is the DA, motherfucker.
That's insane.
That's insane. I think
How is that allowed?
there's too many names that are similar because there's another Michael in here too. So I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but I think Michael Morrissey was a friend of Brian Albert also.
Oh, fucking
Like, they're literally all friends.
Yeah.
If not a direct friend, friends by fucking association somewhere.
Right. We probably knew him, at least, you know.
So Karen is fucked. Like, let's say she did all of this, it really was, they're going to paint her in the worst light.
yeah.
Like, they're going to fucking eat her alive. The trial is scheduled for the end of April, beginning of May in 2024. So this year. That's why, I mean, we're at the end of May right now. It's literally the last day of May. And I think we're on like day 18 of the trial or something.
my
We're like
God.
in the fucking middle of it. So again, if
my
shit
God.
changes by the time you hear this, this is as of right now, 2024, May 31st.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so it's expected to last 8 weeks, like I said. We're 4 weeks into the trial, and it is a fucking shit show, guys. Okay? So that's just like the basis of what's going on. I'm going to tell you all the fucking shit that has transpired in the trial so far. It is a wild ride.
Okay.
So, grab your motherfucking popcorn.
Well, I got it.
Because the defense hasn't even started their arguments yet. This is basically all the prosecution taking their fucking time, like 4 to 6 weeks to be like, this is what we think happened, right? And
Yeah.
then they like have witnesses, and then the defense comes up and cross fucking whatever,
Yeah.
examines them. So that's where we're at. Okay?
Okay.
So it comes out during the trial that the lead investigator of John O'Keefe's case was a trooper by the name of Michael Proctor.
A trooper?
A trooper.
All right. Michael
Lead
Proctor.
investigator Proctor. Turns out he's a close family friend of Brian Albert.
Who isn't?
Who not? During the grand jury trial to get Karen for murder instead of manslaughter, that one that they did, the jury was never made aware of the close connections between Brian and Albert and all of the officers on the case. And they were only told that about Karen being drunk and that their relationship was on the rocks and that the evidence suggested that she backed into him, which is all compelling if you don't know that they're all fucking besties.
Yeah.
And anytime that he was questioned about their relationship on the stand, he downplayed the fuck out of it. And so that's why the jury sided with them. Oh my God,
Oh my
girl.
gosh.
So it turns out that they're best buds, literally. They play down their entire friendship. And then
How is that legal?
it's not, it's fucking perjury. Everybody in this trial, probably including Karen, they're all fucking lying. And they're all getting caught in the lies. And
Okay.
everybody's just like,
Yeah, that's what happens.
they're police officers. It's fucking insane.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
So the defense comes out and they're like, that's weird that you guys aren't really that close because we have a picture of 2012 of you all fucking together for everybody's goddamn celebrations for high school. Fucking Brian Albert's kids were in Michael Proctor's kids' weddings. They go fucking way back. It's
Yeah.
like if you and I were on a fucking, I said,
we know each other.
best friends. And they're like, we're not best friends at all. They were trying to mislead. And the defense is like, what the fuck is this shit? You lied.
They're like, best friends? No, that's gay.
Yeah, that's...
We just know each other.
Yeah, that is a major conflict of interest.
Oh my
for you to be the
God.
lead investigator on this case. The one calling the shots. And it's your best motherfucking friend.
That's insane.
That's shady as
That's at least she'll get off on appeal, you know? There was
Yeah.
some shit happening here in this trial.
Right? We should get rid of this. We can start over with manslaughter or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nope, they're just bringing it up in the trial, right? We're actively in the trial now for
God.
murder. And so they bring it up to, show the jury, you're dealing with a bunch of
Fucking liars.
fucking idiots, yeah. It also comes out that Brian Albert had a German Shepherd named Chloe for about 6 to 7 years.
Uh-huh.
Chloe was fucking adorable.
Uh-huh.
And in May of 2022, so 4 months after John's death, allegedly, Chloe got out and bit 2 women who were walking their dog. And the women tried to break up the fight between the dogs, and they got bit by Chloe. And so after this incident, Brian rehomed the dog elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
How convenient.
Doesn't know where.
Doesn't know where. We don't know where. We can't get DNA samples from the dog or anything. Also, I think the defense tried to get John's clothing so that they could do DNA testing on that to see if there's like animal DNA or something.
or like saliva.
Right. And they, like in writing, they were like, oh yeah, for sure, we'll send that to you. And they never sent it to the defense.
Okay, then did the defense follow up? Like, we all have to fucking do our jobs.
I don't know. And I don't know if it's still available or what, because a lot of evidence is missing in this all of a sudden. Okay, so, but we don't know for sure. We don't know definitively if those are dog marks, bite marks or whatever on his arm.
But
like,
that's what we're trying to examine.
But like,
you know?
how weird. How convenient. 4 months after this incident, you get rid of your dog, you rehome it, and we don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
And you had this dog for 6 to 7 years.
Nobody rehomes a dog and doesn't know where they
Nobody.
sent it.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
They probably got rid of the dog, so you can't trace any DNA evidence.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
that fucking looks like dog bite marks.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty fucking clear.
Yeah.
Hey, Chloe, you're gonna have to lie low for a while.
Yeah, and what if the defense came out 4 months later? I don't know when they stated publicly, like, this could be dog bite marks or something. But what if it were, like, 4 months later?
That's when he's like,
ooh, gotta get rid of this dog. Obviously, I honestly don't have a side to choose, but I'm so mad at the prosecution side.
It's
because it's so shady.
Yeah, it's very bad police work. I mean,
it's fucking awful. It's upsetting.
She very well could have killed him, obviously.
Right.
They could have
we
done
don't know
anything, you know. Yeah, I'm not saying that she's innocent or anything by any means, but
I have a lot of reasonable doubt.
There's a lot of reasonable doubt, and there's a lot that it just doesn't seem right. You know, like, sit this one out. That's your best friend.
There's so many things here that it has to be blatantly done on purpose. Like, it cannot be ignorance.
Right.
These are all seasoned motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one or two things. It's like every integral piece of evidence in this that would prove one way or another is gone, missing, fucking tampered with, wasn't collected the right way.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes me think, like,
intentional neglect.
Seems intentional. Like, it makes me less, I don't know, trusting of that side just because,
100%.
like,
you're being shady on purpose.
You knew the right way to do it, and you're not doing it the right way.
From day one, you've been shady on purpose.
Yeah. And why aren't you doing it it's literally your job. Why aren't you doing it the right way?
Right.
Or
and if Karen had done that shit on purpose, do you think she'd be running around being like, I hit him. No.
Right.
No, that would happen in an accident if somebody was stupid. You know? Like, and I can imagine cute little girl being maybe not that, like, fucking street smart.
Well, that, yeah.
Not to be stereotypical, but I am.
And I mean, if you're drunk, you get your fucking emotions flowing and you guys get in an accident, and maybe she does have the gumption to kill a guy while she's drunk. I think a lot of people do. You know? But then you sober up in the light of day, she doesn't remember that she did it, and that's the, like, uh-oh, I think I hit him, because you have those fucking dreams where you're like, was that real life, or was that Tuesday? Yeah. That's crazy.
Okay. So, Brian rehomes Chloe, right? The defense argues that this was a way for Brian to get rid of the dog, who seems to now be involved in the attack on John.
Mm-hmm. This is all fucking Chloe's idea.
Chloe's fault! She fucking attacked him, and we had to kill him the rest of the way.
Put her in the pound.
We don't want to put Chloe down. Let him die in the front yard.
Right.
They also discuss. I don't think that's the case. I actually think that maybe they were roughhousing, got real, shit got real, and then maybe the dog jumped in.
Yeah.
And they let it happen.
Maybe.
They also discover on the night of John's murder at 2:27 a.m., Brian's sister-in-law, Jennifer McCobb, her phone searched, quote, "Has long to die in the cold." Like, the word how is misspelled with an S instead of a W. At 2:27 a.m. How long to die in the snow. Now, remember,
he died at 12:45.
That's the alleged timeline, because he's found at 7 in the morning. And that timeline is provided by the prosecution.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at 2:30, she knew someone was going to die in the cold.
My bad. I think that might be on the death certificate. They're estimating 12:45, right? Based on the story and everything. Like, I don't know how they came about that, if it was purely scientific or if they're taking, like, oh, okay, well, if she hit him and it was between these times, we'll just say his time of death was 12:45, because that matches when she would have left the scene. So he couldn't have been alive past that.
Well, that's gross.
It could have been. I don't know how they determined that.
Yeah.
So, okay, at 2:27 a.m., she Googles that, right?
Okay, suspicious.
With the word misspelled.
Yeah, drunk.
It's really weird to have a search like that on your phone hours before your friend ends up dead in the snow.
Yeah.
The prosecution disputes this timeline laid out by the defense and says that they claim that Jennifer searched how long to die in the snow after John had been found at 6 o'clock in the morning. So she says that they found John's body. Karen was hysterical.
Isn't there a timestamp on it?
There is. There is. Okay, so I don't know how they get all this information, though, and now I don't trust anybody. So she claims in fucking testimony up on the witness stand, she's like, Karen was going crazy. She grabbed me by the arm, and she was like, Google how long it takes to die of hypothermia. And so she typed in how long to die in the snow. Her fingers were cold. That's why it was misspelled as how long. And that was done at 6 a.m. and not at 2:27 a.m. like you're saying. So the defense pulls up this document of the information because she turned in her phone to the police.
Yeah.
She's one of the only motherfucking people who actually turned in their phone. I'll tell you about the phone
Because
in a
she's the
minute.
woman.
Because she's a chick.
And
she
she
like
wasn't
married.
She wasn't the cop.
Yeah.
She's not the police officer. The police officers are like, what phone? I don't
She's
even
married,
have a phone.
She's married to, she's not married. Jennifer McCobb is actually the sister to Brian Albert's wife.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how she's the sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So she's the
She's
one
not
that
involved.
doesn't have a direct police connection. Like
Yeah.
if that were your husband would be like, But
Yeah.
you know. Okay,
yeah,
so
but she didn't have a cop husband telling her, don't give him your fucking phone.
she had a cop brother-in-law telling her to delete shit off her phone because they pull up that search that was done at 2:27 a.m. And it shows that it was deleted long to die in the snow.
Oh my God, I'm so interested.
It's fucking dirty. Every person that took the stand in this case, they're so tight-lipped and so technical that like anytime the defense would cross-examine them, they would like get so nitty-gritty on like, I don't understand the question. Could you ask it again? When literally the question is like, did you destroy this thing? They'd be like, no. And they're like, okay, well, did you throw it in the trash? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, that is destroying the thing. And they're like, no. You're just like, oh my God. And so like,
No.
fucking the defense's questioning happened for so long. You could hear that the judge was just like fucking tired of the questioning and was so like, it was getting dragged on for so long because at points when the defense would ask the question so many different ways and the person wouldn't answer exactly how they wanted because it would be admitting like insane guilt. But like we all can fucking see through the bullshit and we know that it's true and that they're just trying to say it in a certain way to make them not look guilty. The judge would be like, you know, every time they'd be like, fucking objection. She'd be like, sustained. Please rephrase it in the appropriate way.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God. Okay, so it was like hard to watch and frustrating at times because it's like, we fucking get it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Say the
obviously.
fucking thing. Say what we all want to know.
Yeah, and they'd ask the same question like 800 times. Okay, so for example, Jennifer McCobb, she was on the stand and being asked about the timing of her text messages, and the defense spends forever trying to get her to just say what she fucking Googled. Like, what did you Google? What? It doesn't matter what time. Like, at 6 a.m., whatever. What did you Google? And she would just be like, I don't know. Even though, and they're like, it's been 2 years of this trial, and we've talked about this, and your evidence is very key in what happened and very pivotal. Like if I were being held responsible for Googling something about a dead friend that turned up dead,
I would know exactly what that search was.
Fucking 100%.
Or what you think it was.
And she was just like, why don't you show it to me? Like, it's fucking fiery, okay?
Ew,
like, it is so gross. And, like, there are times when, like, people laugh in the courtroom and they have to be like, quiet. Like, they have to keep this serious because they're literally trying to make it a circus and they're trying to keep it from being a circus.
Oh, my God.
And everybody's so fucking tooty, dude. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, just tell your fucking truth.
Yeah.
They show her the Google text of all of them and she's like, I recall now. It refreshes my memory.
Oh, okay.
Fucking nerd. Okay.
Fucking loser.
Yeah. Fucking loser. They're all on like borderline perjury, if not actual perjury.
Yeah.
In this whole thing. You know what you fucking wrote. Anyway, Jennifer claims that she did not Google that shit till after John was found and instead of the 2:20 a.m. and that she Googled
that shit.
And instead at 2:20 in the morning, she was wide awake after drinking and hanging out or whatever, that she was Googling some basketball team or something that her daughter had been invited to join. And I guess she needed to give them an answer soon. Mm-hmm. So while she's laying in bed, she opens a tab and she Googles that or whatever. And then when 6 a.m. happens in the morning, Karen's like, Google hypothermia. She opens it, uses the same tab to search it. So
is that when the tab was opened?
So her argument is that. And the defense is like, nah, homie. This is when it was deleted. This is when that search was deleted. And this part, there's a couple pieces of evidence where you're like, I don't know which way this swings. I'm a little confused. When the defense brings up the data, it shows that at 2:27 a.m., Jen did in fact Google how long to die in the snow with the misspelling and then deleted it. And then at 6:20 a.m. after John was discovered, she searched how long T.I. die in CIKD. Like she misspelled the word to and cold, how long to die in the cold, but with different misspellings than the Haas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how does it go? Haas long to die, delete. And then how long tie dye, whatever, in cold, whatever. And then 30 seconds after that that 6 a.m. misspelling of the TI and the cold misspelled, there's a secondary search that says Haslong to die in cold with that same misspelling that happened at 2:27 a.m. So, like, you have, it's not like you just opened that tab and it had that same misspelling. It's like you misspelled it. I'm speculating that her cop friends were like, hey, man, after we discover him, just type it again and it'll overwrite your search, you know, like delete it or whatever. And then if you type it the same way, misspell it the same way, and we can fight that, right?
Yeah, you could at least say like, well, I don't know how it happens, blah, blah, blah. But
100%. But she misspelled it the first time because she was like nervous and cold and whatever. So she misspelled it and then searched it again 30 seconds later with the correct spelling. And what's interesting and what the defense brings up is no matter how you spell that, all of the same results come up. So why did you re-Google it if you saw what you needed the first time? And she was like, well, obviously I didn't get the answers I was looking for. And they were like, okay, did you get it the second time? And she's like, we got distracted or something. So now I'm like, okay, reasonable doubt for me anyway. Like, I don't know. That's weird. That's weird to me to have a deleted search with a misspelling, to have another search at 6 a.m. with a different misspelling, and then one right after with the correct misspelling that matches the 2 a.m. search. Like, to me, that seems like you're trying to cover something up.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were saying reasonable doubt. Like, I don't know. I don't blame her now. And I was like,
oh, no.
This makes her much more suspicious to me.
But also, like you said, like, is that when the tab opened or whatever? They never, like, went back and questioned, other than the defense is like, no, this is when that search was deleted from your phone. And it looks all plausible, but this is coming from the defense side, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the defense is going to bring up, like, experts in the area and explain it more, but we haven't gotten to that part.
They should take the Alexas out of their home.
They probably did.
And listen to all the recordings.
Dude, I'm over here. I put a bunch of notes at the end that we're going to talk about, but I'm over here like, did nobody have a fucking ring? Can we not use John O'Keefe's phone to see if it was close to other phones? Like, there's so many other opportunities here that they are not seeking.
Yeah.
Or, like, I know we've done a case where you could see the woman running around the house. Why can't we do that here? Is it because she had, like, a running app or something? Like, I don't know.
But everybody has, like, the Steps app on your phone or whatever.
Automatically, yeah. And a lot of these motherfuckers all had iPhones. Like, I feel like there's some missing stuff. But we'll see what the defense brings up. Like I said, they haven't brought up they haven't presented their side of the story yet. So this could all blow open in the next couple weeks. We'll see with, like, more evidence. So, but this is where we're at today, right? So she Googles this weird Google search that's suspicious about the timing and everything. The defense comes back with evidence showing it was deleted. 2:27 a.m. If he was injured in that house at that party, everybody allegedly left at like 1:30 or something. What if the majority of people left around that time? They all say that they left that time. Something bad happened with a few people hanging back. They toss him out there and she Googles because he's so injured. And now they don't want to, you know, maybe they think he's dead then. Like, oh, God, we killed him. And they throw him out there.
Or like, well, if he's not dead, he'll die in the cold. How's long to die in cold?
Right. That's what my brain gears are doing over here.
Yeah. Well, and kind of like how you said, if everybody left at 1:30 or whatever, and allegedly if he would have been out there at 12:45 after everything, you would think someone would have seen him.
Oh, and there were people coming and going.
Yeah.
And nobody saw him. Nobody saw him.
He's right there.
Nobody saw him in the house.
You would think that people would have saw him. So I kind of like your idea that maybe he had hung back and everybody was hanging out, like, or a few people were hanging out later.
Yeah.
You know, like most
like your
people
close
had left.
Friends.
Yeah, everybody had left at 1:30, whatever.
Something bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for something bad to happen in my mind that we'll get to
Ooh,
once I get to that part.
Okay.
I have a theory.
Dang, girl.
And by I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's on the same theory. But I'm over here like, fucking, I guess the theory is about the same relevance as, like, the theory of Karen and John getting in a relationship argument. Like, there's the same amount of evidence. But, okay. Jennifer actually had some more weird things happening in her testimony as well. I guess she originally failed to mention that right after discovering the body of John, Jennifer, along with a friend Carrie, who Karen had picked up that morning, they went to the lead investigator's home and spoke to his wife. So I'm thinking this feels a little gossipy. Like, ooh, what's going on? Blah, 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 right? And everybody says everybody was talking about this. Like, everybody's like, holy shit, this is crazy, right? But also you could be going there to get some advice.
Yeah. What do we do?
Right. So,
and if you're going there, it's because you don't want to be on the phone.
Right.
You don't want to text. You don't want to call that person. Why would you call them?
Jennifer claims that the reason that they went over there was because Carrie's daughter was friends with the lead investigator's daughter, and they were just simply dropping her off. And I'm like, no, you're not. Not after you found your friend dead.
Yeah, right?
You're not like, anyway, let's go on a play date.
Yeah.
Our morning has changed.
Yeah. Things are different now.
Yeah, I want you to play on your video games all day. I'm busy.
Yeah, you got to stay inside.
I don't want to know I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Not only to go there and get advice or something, but they could be corroborating stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's get our stories right.
Yeah. Like, you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure this shit out.
I don't know if he was there.
He did die.
I don't think he
out
was
there
there
in the cold.
But I don't really fucking know. Anyway, okay,
yeah.
So there's also some calls on Jen's phone that were deleted. There are 7 calls spanning over a time frame of 19 minutes from 12:29 a.m. to 12:50 a.m. from Jen's phone to John O'Keefe.
Okay.
So she called him 7 times over 19 minutes between 12:30 and 12:50.
Okay.
So that would have been about the time that he went missing, was being dropped off, whatever.
Allegedly.
But she denies calling him. And
weird.
she says that those are all butt dials.
Okay.
Okay. She also denies deleting any of those from her phone. They were deleted.
That's suspicious.
They were deleted.
Ma'am.
And she's like, I didn't delete them.
Your husband did then.
Somebody did.
Or
yeah.
your fucking brother-in-law.
I did not delete them.
Okay.
Do you know who did, though? Yeah. They don't ask that question, I don't think. I didn't hear them ask that. But, like, the whole time, I mean, that's how this whole case was, though, is like they were parsing apart words. Everybody on that witness stand has been trained to answer these questions.
Yeah.
Not only just for this case,
but in
like,
life.
for their life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it is a difficult case to try.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, don't give any information that you don't need to give. I didn't delete them.
Right.
That's crazy.
There was also evidence that there was this text thread between Jennifer McCabe, her husband, Brian Albert, and his wife. So Jennifer's sister, Brian Albert, and then Jen's husband. So there's this text thread. And in that thread at 12:15 p.m. on February 1st, so this is a couple days later, Jennifer's husband sends a text to the group that says, quote, tell them the guy never went into the house. And I guess he was referencing comments that they were going to make to like Channel 4 News or something, like tell them that guy never went into the house. And Brian Albert replies, exactly. So it's not incriminating because you could just be coaching each other. But it sounds kind of like you're trying to get everybody's story right. Like, hey, we're about to go in there. Make sure everybody says that he did not enter that house. Whether that's true or not, it could be true that he never entered the house.
And you're like, just remind them he never went into the house.
That's
so
the crucial thing
point.
here. Like, hey, everybody, just because we're in an investigation, make sure you say this. Or
it could be like, well, just tell him he never went into the house.
wink, wink.
Yeah.
And we all are like, yep,
And you're
yep,
like,
yep.
exactly.
Got it.
As long as we do that.
Everything's going to be kosher.
Also, the guy, a man is dead.
Yeah.
You didn't learn his fucking name 2 days later.
Maybe they were trying to keep it generic so that they could argue it if it ever came up in court. Like, oh, we weren't talking about John. There's no name. I don't know.
It's just disrespectful at that point.
I feel like it too. I mean, come on.
Because even if you are getting your story straight or whatever, like, hey man, it's all right. We got this. It's going to be okay. Just tell him he didn't go into the house. Like, it could be 2 very different motives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
like, I know we're all nervous here, but don't worry about it.
Nervous. And maybe you're not supposed to talk like that. So
Yeah.
maybe you're not supposed to talk to each other. So maybe that's, forbidden or whatever. And so they're like, the guy. But it just feels rude. Like, the guy. John,
Yeah,
bitch. He
like
died in your
dismissive.
fucking yard.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not yours, but.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Bro.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Oh, my God. It could be argued that that's another, like, get our story straight kind of thing.
Yeah. It could go both ways.
Right. Another character who took the stand was Brian Higgins. So Brian Higgins was wrestling with Brian Albert at the waterfall. Another meathead, in my opinion. So he just so happens to be an agent for like drug and tobacco force or whatever. Fucking, I don't know, it's like ATF. I don't remember.
Oh, ATF guy, huh?
Yeah. And he was also at the bar and the party that night at Brian Albert's house. So he was there. So they get him up on the stand. And here's what's weird about Brian Higgins' testimony. So it turns out that Higgins and Karen were sort of flirting with each other the weeks before John was murdered.
Uh-oh.
So this is where I'm like, there is some plausible reason why
Yeah.
Higgins could potentially have injured John because he is flirting with John's girlfriend.
Well, and they're play fighting. Did the little play fights kind of get out of hand? And then it's like, oh, I'll take her home. You know, you say something a little too much or whatever.
Yeah, and you're all drunk and you're a bunch of meatheads.
Yeah, and then your friendly wrestling turns into not so friendly wrestling.
Yeah, and then shit gets a little too real. The dog jumps in. You get pissed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. 1, 2, knockout. And you're like, oh, fuck, I accidentally killed this guy.
Yeah, leave him in the snow.
Yeah, got to cover it up.
Ugh.
So he provided a text thread, this Brian Higgins guy.
Uh-huh.
He provides a text thread between him and Karen where it's so long and there's so many out of, like, I didn't read them in order, so it was kind of confusing. But essentially she calls him hot. And he is fucking loving it in the messages, you know? He's like, I feel the same or whatever. And he's like continually trying to flirt with her. And she is reciprocating at times. And then at other times, it just seems like she's kind of giving like standard answers. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
like, I took this too far.
Like, back out, back out.
Oopsie. Yeah, like shit's actually working out with John. My bad.
Yeah.
Like, she's still not a great person. Like,
Yeah,
you should not do, your character is still, everybody's character sucks.
Yeah.
Okay?
But that doesn't mean that you killed somebody.
100%. There's this weird exchange over like 2 days, but basically it seems like Brian was trying to talk to Karen and she was like, nah, I don't want to talk to you. And like he ended it with like, are you sure? And she didn't reply. She's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking chat. Whatever. It sounds like they also kind of like met up at each other's houses a couple times. So I don't know.
Stuff could have been said or done. Is this before the murders?
This is before the murder. Like the weeks before the murder. It sounds like they're sneaking and geeking to me. It's never admitted like they had sex or anything.
It's
but
not
she
like,
does say.
Thanks for last night.
Yeah. No, but there is a text that says like, I'm so happy you came over last night.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's from Karen to Higgins. Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
They're very flirty. They're very, like, there's parts where it is very flirty, and then towards the end is when I got the vibe that she was just giving basic answers.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's something going on there, right?
Okay.
So then the night that they all go drinking at the bars, John O'Keefe and Karen, they meet up at the bar, and Brian Higgins, I can't remember if Higgins got there first or came in. I think he was already there when they walked in. And John came up to Brian and gave him like a big old hug, greeted everybody, right? Including Brian Higgins.
Yeah.
Karen did not. She basically ignored Higgins the whole night. And the last message they had sent, he was like, do you want to talk, whatever? And she just did not reply. Like, and it was getting very short. So I'm thinking she's like, oh shit, this is getting a little too real. And I think everything's working out with John. I don't know, because everything was going great that night. And she just kept her distance.
Okay.
And then during that night, he sends her a message that says something like, hello, or something. I can't remember what it was, and I didn't write it down. It was just like basic words that could be construed either which way. But the defense is arguing you were getting ignored by Karen, who you liked the attention of.
Yeah.
And she ignored you all night long. So you tried to get her to talk to you by texting her, and she just didn't reciprocate.
Yeah.
So now you're in a sour mood that this chick isn't paying attention to you, and that she's like being lovey-dovey with John.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well,
so,
and you said if she was being all lovey-dovey on like the security cameras and stuff. Like, I wonder if she was doing that on purpose.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe their shit was just working out right and they were having a good night. And then all of a sudden Brian Higgins walks in, or is there.
Yeah.
Because Higgins says that he didn't know they were coming. Like nobody knew who was coming. He was there for Brian Albert. Like Brian Albert had invited everybody else. And he did not ask who was coming or anything.
Yeah.
So, no, it sounds like maybe people didn't realize who was there, and then she might have walked in and been like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
just going to ignore him tonight.
Yeah.
We're not going to deal with this.
All right.
So, Brian Higgins says that they go back to the house. He uses his Jeep. He gets there first. His Jeep has a plow on it, and he uses his Jeep to plow the driveway of the house to clear it.
Okay.
And then he parks his Jeep, what would be behind Karen's Jeep, like when she pulls up. So it's facing that flagpole area, but it's closer to the driveway. So it's kind of like a long property, not super long. You could probably fit 4 or 5 cars or something.
Yeah.
And he's parked right at the edge of the driveway, and his plow is down.
Okay.
He testifies later that when he leaves that night, he plows for like a foot before pulling it up, realizing that it was down and pulling it up and driving away. I don't know why they're doing that. I know that John O'Keefe was covered with some snow, so I don't know if they were like, oh, if the plow had covered snow on him, he would have been in the snow before he left, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why, and I don't really know the answer of the whole plow thing.
Interesting that she kept saying, too, like, oh, he might have gotten hit by a plow, and this motherfucker has
Right?
a plow on his Jeep.
Like, what is going on? And I don't think that Karen is being fully truthful either, but I don't know. I don't know if she's not being truthful out of ignorance because she was drunk or if
She's also hiding something.
Right. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I just mentioned he plowed for a foot, whatever, just because everybody else is saying it. So maybe that'll be important later on in the case. So Higgins' testimony states that he went to the house, he had a beer, but he's not a beer person. He was drinking whiskey at all the other bars, and he had had a lot of whiskey, he said. Like, yeah, we were all pretty drunk. He drove there drunk. And then he got
These
there.
are all cops?
These are all motherfucking cops.
Okay.
So he drives there drunk, gets there. They don't have whiskey. He's a whiskey guy. So they hand him a beer. And he basically kind of says, he doesn't say it in these exact words, but alludes to the fact that he's sort of babysitting the beer. And when he saw the beer, he knew it wasn't going to be a long night there. Like he stayed for like an hour before
He's like,
left.
I don't want to hang out here.
Right.
They ain't got my special tea.
So he left at about 1:30 a.m., according to him.
Yeah.
At 1:30, he drove back to the Canton police station, which I don't think he was on the Canton police force, but he had an office there for some reason. Like his boss worked there and his boss let him have an office there or some shit.
Okay.
So he went back to the police station, allegedly to swap out vehicles because there was a snowstorm coming or something. So I think he had to get them out of the snowstorm. I don't really know what you do in a snowstorm because I'm not fluent in snowstorms, but he says he went back there to do some administrative work is what he originally testified
At 1:30 a.m. drunk.
At 1:30 a.m. drunk in his personal vehicle. He drives to the police station.
A good time to do personal work.
Or to maybe get rid of something in a discreet way or wipe something off of some things in a discreet way. I don't know what kind of access you have at your police station.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He leaves at 1:30 in his Jeep. He would have been facing John's body if he had been out there at 12:45. Like, he would have seen him. His lights would have turned on and seen him.
Yeah.
And the only explanation, he says, I didn't see shit. And the only explanation he gives as to potentially why not, essentially is like if there was snow on the windshield, like snow blocking it, snow on the car, that makes it so you can't see it. But even that, I'm like, you got to see where you're driving. You'd see something.
Did you
notice
scrape off
a
your
block.
windshield? Like,
Yeah.
you live in Boston.
Yeah.
You're gonna scrape your windshield before you fucking drive around.
So
Uh-huh.
he claims he didn't see or notice anybody in the snow. When Brian Higgins was first questioned by the officers, he stated that he left for the Canton Police Department that morning to fulfill some administrative obligations, right? Like I said, this is after the night of drinking, whiskeys, and everything. He later changes his story that he went there to move the 2 work vehicles during the snowstorm or whatever, and he argues that that's considered an administrative task.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm getting at is everyone's story is morphing and changing slightly to point the blame elsewhere, and it's super messy. Like,
Yeah.
okay, why didn't you just say that in the first place? And he's like, I bet you can see me moving the vehicles on the footage. So he gets to the police station, and you probably can, but he goes inside the police station too.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes inside the station after moving the cars around, whatever. The defense is arguing that when he got in, his friend, Officer Good, one of the first responders on the scene later, was actually working dispatch. And so that he would have had access to like fucking anything he needed or whatever with his friend there. But he claims he didn't even talk to them. He didn't do any of that shit. That I don't know how long he stayed there. I probably should have entered that or looked it up or whatever. But that he went in, did his fucking whatever the fuck he was doing, and then he left.
Administrative stuff.
But he did go inside. Okay?
Also, no one says administrative stuff. I was just going
If you're an
in to
officer?
do administrative stuff. You would say, I just went in
Paperwork.
to do paperwork, to finish that parking ticket.
That's what I mean by
do
like
the
they
thing.
say enough so that it's not a lie,
Yeah.
but it's deceptive.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like, well, I consider it administrative work. And you're like, all right,
Okay, but it's not.
that's not what we think of when you say
Yeah.
that. I think you're fucking listening to voicemails and setting up appointments.
Yeah.
Or like fucking stapling some papers together.
Just say what you did.
Yeah, no. And then like I guess he had moved these cars earlier in the day too. Like he had rode with Brian Albert for like a fucking hour and a half or some shit in the car, 4-hour drive before they had gone out drinking. And then he had to go back to the police station for something. And then they met up for drinking. And then he went back to move the cars again. The defense was saying, why would you knew the storm was coming and that you had to move those cars. Why wouldn't you do that after the trip back home and before going out on a night drinking?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you use that time to go move that instead of doing it at 1:30 in the morning?
After you've been drinking.
Yeah, and he was just like, it's not a big deal to me. Like, I didn't want to.
It's not a big deal to you to follow laws.
Yeah, to like
As a
not
police
drive drunk
officer.
or do your job drunk.
Yeah. As a police officer, that's the most alarming thing that he could have said to me.
There's so many alarming things. Oh my God. Okay, so he goes home. Higgins goes home, and he has some more drinks, and he eats something, and he goes to bed.
Okay.
Well, I guess initially he testified that he keeps his phone on his nightstand and that he went to bed in bed. Now that he's up on the stand here, though, he's like, I could have fallen asleep on the couch watching the news or something. And they're like, well, did you or did you go to bed? And he's like, well, now I can't remember. It's been 2 years. And they're like, well, you testified when it was only like a few months out or a year later or something, closer to the crime. You testified that you were in bed.
Yeah.
So we're going to trust that testimony more than what you're telling us now.
Yeah.
And it's important because that same night, the defense brings up the fact that at 2:20 a.m., there are 2 phone calls that happen between Brian Albert and Brian Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is from Brian Albert to Brian Higgins, and it's answered, but only for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few seconds later, a call from Brian Higgins back to Brian Albert, and that one lasts 22 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so they're quick. But of course, Higgins has no recollection of the phone calls, and he says that it must have been a butt dialed.
22-second butt dial?
Right.
And calling back, that's not a butt dial.
100%. Everybody in this case is capable of butt dials, evidently, and so many butt dials were happening that night.
Also, at 2:30 in the morning, chances are you're sleeping or you have your eyes closed. If they have iPhones or something, it's not going to unlock unless your phone is looking at it.
You're already thinking of all the things everybody's thinking about.
Yeah.
Because he testified originally that his phone was on his nightstand, so there is no butt dial. There is no answering unless you do it intentionally. Then he's changing his thing to, like, I might have been on the couch and, like, rolled on it or something. But exactly what you're saying, like...
Okay, but your eyes have to be open. If you have an iPhone, your eyes have to be open or you have to put in your passcode.
100%. That's what everybody's arguing. And they even say that on the stand. Well, don't you have to, like... He's like, I can open it with my face. Or, like, whatever. And they're like, well, if you can open it with your face, then you need a passcode, too. Because they said, well, don't you need a passcode to open your phone? And he's like, I can open it with my face. And they're like, well, that would mean, like, if you have face identification, you have to also have a passcode.
Yeah, it's locked. Your phone is locked.
Your phone is locked either which way. You're admitting that you have that lock on your phone.
Yeah.
Like, your phone is set up to do that.
Yeah.
Did you accidentally roll over on your face and unlocked and then your nose hit it? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, but your eyes have to be open.
And everybody's like, it takes strokes to do that. Like, you don't accidentally hit it.
Yeah.
And then some people are arguing, well, if your notifications are up and you click it fast enough or whatever, but your phone has to be unlocked.
Your phone has to be unlocked. You have to look at it and you have to click on the thing that says missed call and it'll call that person back if you're looking at your phone.
And to me, 22 seconds is enough time to get something important out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like calling you and being like, hey, I almost forgot, but XYZ.
Yeah.
Also, this thing, go get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, got
100%. That was only 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, yeah,
and
man,
he's
no
like,
problem. I'll go take care of that right now. This is crazy.
And on the stand, Higgins is like, that's not enough time to actually have a conversation. There's like no rule by that, right? Like it's an opinion.
That's not enough time to have a conversation. Not a deep one.
Yeah, but you could get some important information out in that time.
Yeah.
So he's like, psh, that's for sure just a butt dial. And we're all like, you look a little like, I'm a little skeeved out right now.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Mind you, this phone call situation, this accidental butt dial while you're sleeping or whatever, this happened 5 minutes before Jennifer McCobb Googled how long to die in the snow. Yeah, so Jen's at home laying in bed after the party. Everybody's gone home at this point. They're all agreeing that like by 2:20, everybody's in bed, whatever. She's Googling. If that part of her story is true, she's Googling how long is it going to take John to die in the snow.
Yeah.
She's alone. She's drunk.
Yeah.
She's on her phone at night before trying to get tired to fall asleep.
Oh, that's so fucking crazy. Is she in the house? Like, could you imagine going to sleep with knowing someone's outside your house dying?
Oh, so Jen didn't live in the house. Brian Albert is her brother-in-law.
Yeah, I know that.
But yeah, I mean,
maybe they're staying
your fucking sister's house.
Yeah.
There's some guy dying on the lawn, bruh.
That's fucking crazy.
It's just all, like, the timing of everything is really suspicious to me. So, as if that weren't weird enough, Brian Higgins, his phone has since basically been destroyed. I kind of was telling you this story earlier. I just didn't use all the words.
Everything's destroyed somehow.
Everything is fucking destroyed, and I'm going to tell you how. So, he was told by the fucking law that he had to keep his phone info safe for this trial.
Yeah.
He was served a document, an order,
Why
a
didn't
fucking
the
thing.
law take it?
Maybe because he's an officer? I don't know. And this is his personal
They
phone.
were like,
so
keep it safe.
right. They're like, we trust you.
I'd be like, buy a new one. I'm going to take this one.
So he gets this order relatively recently after John dies.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't fuck with your phone. Keep that phone safe. This is information. You're not allowed to get rid of this phone. And that was served in writing, right?
What are the consequences if he does?
I don't
Nothing?
fucking know, man.
Just nothing.
I don't know.
Don't
do it.
Don't
I
lie.
wrote him a letter. Don't fucking do it.
It's in writing. I told him not to.
I'm sure it's a crime, but I don't think he'll ever be prosecuted
Right.
for it.
Yeah.
There are worse crimes he commits. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
And he admits to under fucking oath.
Well,
okay?
he already fucking drove drunk and did his job drunk.
Girl. Oh. Girl. Okay, so I'm like grinning because this shit is so juicy. Like, grab your fucking popcorn.
Oh my God.
We're about to spill some tea.
Okay.
So they're like, hey man, don't destroy your phone.
Mhm.
Well, a month after receiving that order, he allegedly gets verbal confirmation that he can get rid of it.
Okay.
Only after a month.
Okay.
A month later, they're like, hey, don't get rid of this. A month later, they're like, do whatever you want.
In writing,
Verbally.
they're like, do not get rid of this. And then verbally, they're like, yeah, it's fine. You could
Verbally,
fucking
his
check it.
friend was probably like, yeah, man, get rid of that shit. It's okay. It's like, it's less than murder.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, right? Right. It's less than murder.
Right. That's what I'm speculating over here. You know, like, just try not to get caught for it. But if you do, that's less than murder.
Yeah.
So.
That's fucking crazy. And he's like, okay.
So he goes to a friend.
Per Brian, right? Like, does he
Yeah.
get who?
Per
told
Albert.
him?
Yeah, Officer Albert.
Yeah.
To Officer Higgins. Fucking besties in this situation. So Brian Higgins goes to a friend who happens to be an FBI agent.
Uh-huh. Obviously.
Or like associated with the FBI. I don't know if he's a fucking agent, but whatever. He's in the motherfucking FBI.
Okay.
And I guess there's this building that all fucking officers have access to. It's FBI resources, but you can go up to this kiosk and you can extract data. You can use their tools, basically. And as an officer, you have a right to use these tools.
Okay.
So he hooks up with his friend. His friend's like, hey, man, I got this tool that can extract data from your phone. So he goes there. He extracts the thread from Karen and him from the phone, allegedly to give to the police officers for this trial. But
He accidentally deleted it.
he was not asked to. He did this on his own. Nobody was like, hey, man, you got any text messages from Karen? Because nobody knows they're having an affair.
Yeah.
Or whatever, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes and does that on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Does not get any of the other threads that are going on with Albert or anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have evidence as to whether or not he did extract information from the phone and delete it. We don't have any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know he had access to a tool that could do that if you wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's admitting to using federal resources for personal use. He's not on this case.
Oh.
He's not an officer on... This is not an active investigation for him. This has nothing to do with tobacco, alcohol, or firearms.
Yeah.
So homie uses his police stuff
Hookups.
for personal use for information that he wasn't asked to do
On an ongoing case.
on an ongoing case
that he's involved in.
that he's involved in, which also just so happens to be a federal offense. And he admits to it on the motherfucking stand. Girl, at this point, the judge herself is like, we're going to need to take a break for a minute. And then after that, Brian Higgins' attorney stood with him at the fucking witness stand for the rest of his questioning to give him live counseling. Like, they were like, you're walking into dangerous territory, my friend. Like, you're admitting to some bad shit. Not even related to, like, fucking murder. Like, you just admitted to a federal crime by using resources for your personal use.
Did he not know that that's illegal?
They ask him, okay, so the defense is like, you know, pulling up all of the things that you signed your fucking life away to when you fucking oathed yourself to be this officer.
Yeah.
And in there, it says that. And
Yeah, but
he
who
says-
reads the fine
he's-
print,
Exactly.
you know?
And he said, you could see his face like, oh, fuck, you
Yeah.
know, because he was very cocky the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he kind of gets a little defensive. And he's like, were you aware of this? And he keeps shaking his head like, no, I didn't fucking know that. And then his lawyer would go, objection. And the judge would say sustained. And I'm like, motherfucker, if I were in the jury, you know how you're not supposed to remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that one move just, you know, I don't know if I can delete that because now I'm feeling like that just solidified everything else I was already thinking about you.
Yeah, right? Like, you're a shady motherfucker trying to cover some stuff up, and you know you're covering stuff up now.
Right. And then his body language. Not that we know anything about body language in reading it, but the one thing I do ever know, and I don't even know if it's fucking true, is that, you know how they say that people will tell you more with their body language than their words? So, like, when they say no, but they nod their head yes, that's them really admitting guilt. He did that so much.
That happens all the fucking time, though. I see it
I do it
everywhere.
myself.
Yeah, I do it. I see it everywhere. And in every movie when they're like, yeah, I'd love to. I'm like, you're a terrible actor.
Nod your head, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's like, I'm getting into it. You know, like.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
He's like, yes, I didn't do that.
It's like, I swear to God, man, you gotta fucking believe me.
I don't know, though. There's a couple times I was like, maybe. But I'm already suspicious on the dude, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay, get ready. So he does that. They're like, oh, fuck. We need his lawyer with him right now.
Yeah. Fucking somebody get his babysitter up here.
Right. So I don't know that this is chronologically in how the testimony went, but they do ask about him and his cell phone, right? So they're like, okay, what happened to the cell phone? And he's like, I don't have it anymore. And they're like, yeah, what did you do with it? And he's like, well, I threw it away. And they're like, okay, where'd you throw it away? And he's like, well, I threw it away on a military base in a dumpster. And they spent forever questioning, like, did he remove the SIM card before he threw it away? Did he at least save that? Because you're under this order to save it. And he's like, if I would have thrown it away, I would have removed and destroyed the SIM card. And they're like, did you? And he's like, I have no recollection. But I would have either cut it or snapped the SIM card in half. And they're like, did you? He's like, if I threw it away, I would have done that. And they're like, but did you? And he's like, I don't remember. So basically you're saying, yes, I would have, because you're saying I threw it away. You're saying, if I would have thrown it away, I would have done that?
It would be destroyed. I don't remember doing it, but it's for sure destroyed. But it probably wasn't me.
And they said that he threw it away in 2 separate dumpsters. Like, I didn't find any evidence supporting this, but like how would they know unless he admitted it? But like they said, like the phone was in one and the SIM card was another. There's so many rumors, though, that could be a rumor.
It's not a credit card.
It's not a fucking credit. It is if it's got incriminating evidence. You're like, fucking burn that shit.
Yeah, and different dumpsters.
Yeah.
This one stays in your fucking shoebox in your closet for the next 47 years.
Right? Okay, let me explain the dumpster thing, though, because there is what I would consider a plausible explanation. It turns out that homie didn't have a truck run at his house or something, so it was very regular for him to take his trash to like either the dumpster on base, which he drove through often, or to another property that he had, which had a trash run. That's according to him. So I'm like, okay, because my little cabin in Colorado, we don't have one.
Yeah.
So you would burn it or take it to somebody with a trash. So, okay, maybe. Yeah. But like, why did you get rid of that? Like, that's fucking suspicious.
Well, especially being told that you can't. And who gets rid of phones that often?
I know. And he was
I have all of my old phones.
They were like, weren't you worried about losing your photos or your videos or anything? Like, you lost everything on that phone, and that was your personal phone. And he's like, I'm a bachelor with no wife and kids. I didn't have anything on that phone. I use my work phone more than anything. And I'm like, okay, but even that, you got something on there, you know? Mm-hmm. But also, like you said, who throws away phones that fast? Am I like the only fucking hoarder?
No, I have all of my phones.
All of my phones.
I have the boxes.
Especially if I were involved in a fucking crime.
I have my mom's phone. She died 9 years ago.
I have my dad's phone. Fucking 4 years ago, bitch. I'm right there with you. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, people's phones I don't own.
You don't throw away phones. I have my phones from high school.
Yeah, me too.
You don't throw away phones.
You don't. Right?
If anything, they get re-gifted to someone. Like you
kid.
Can use this now. Yeah.
Or your mom.
But as a bachelor, it just goes in a fucking drawer.
He got rid of that shit. Yeah,
I wonder
how
why.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian Higgins gets a call in the
What if you break your next phone? You need your backup phone just in case.
Right?
You know? Like,
You're very
you don't
confident.
throw away fucking phones, bro.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. You recycle them at least.
At least.
Okay, so that's all the phone information, right?
Yeah.
Brian Higgins gets a call in the morning from Brian Albert that John is dead. Mm-hmm. We're going back to that morning of, right?
Yeah.
And he rushes over right away. So he had plenty of time with Brian Albert without the police around to continue to, like, get our story straight. Mm-hmm. He then goes back to the Canton Police Department, where his card shows him scanning in and out of the Sally Port, which I guess is the area where they store evidence in cars and shit. So in and out of the Sally Port at the same time that Karen's SUV with a broken taillight is being pulled from her parents' home and brought into the police station, into that same Sally Port. He was there all motherfucking day with evidence of the case. Like, crucial evidence. This could be the murder weapon. And he had full fucking access. And I guess there's always video of the Sally Port, but they can't get the video.
What?
Or it hasn't been presented in court or anything. Maybe it will be in the defense. I don't know. But like, there is no there's nothing about it right now. And obviously we don't know what the defense is going to bring up. So.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But we're all like, where is this video? Like, we could see if he was fucking around in there, if he touched it. Like, he's got to know there's video.
Right.
And maybe they got rid of it. I don't know. It's just fucking weird.
If they got rid of it, like,
I
this
mean,
sucks, man.
Like, he had access to key evidence. He was at the crime scene, admittedly. He was having an alleged affair with the
person.
victim's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But John's in the way, you know, like, hey, like we were speculating, maybe shit just got rowdy because they were drunk and he took it too far.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could go on forever and ever about this case since it's legit an ongoing case right now. Basically, everybody, including Karen, is coming off as shady and sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is so intertwined that it's impossible to not be connected. Like, legit, Brian Albert's brother, Kevin, works for the Canton Police Department. And so they had to call in the state police, like the Massachusetts State Police, because there was a conflict of interest. Like,
Because everyone at this station can't cover this case.
100%. So the trial has kicked off, like I said, end of April, beginning of May of this year. And this case has become so public that they had to set up a 200-foot barrier, like buffer zone, from the courthouse for people who are protesting, so that they,
oh my God.
like, I guess this town is like literally divided. Like, everybody's divided.
Yeah.
Some people think that it's an elaborate cover-up. Some people think that she's like a spoiled bitch who ran him over and is trying to lie her way through it.
Jesus.
So the next little bits I have are just some random bullets that I didn't know where to fit, but I'm going to do my best. I just want to share it with you guys because literally I've been Googling it. Like, before bed, I Google and add a couple notes. Like, this morning before you got here, I added a few notes because it's legit ongoing.
Still happening, yeah.
Right. So I guess John's sister, when she passed away of the brain tumor before he got the niece and nephew, he gave a eulogy at her funeral, and he was talking about caring for her children, and he said something along the lines, like, he ended his speech with, "We'll take it from here. Like, we got your kids, we're going to take it from here."
Oh, that gives me chills.
I know. During John's eulogy, John's younger brother, Paul, he ended his speech the same way for his brother, John, in his eulogy. Over 1,000 people attended his funeral, like his wake and his funeral. They had like the big fucking fire trucks with the big old flag. There was like this procession of people in like their pristine outfits standing in the freezing cold to go honor John.
Aww. That's so sad.
I know. So that's kind of the end of that story, really, like how I wanted to end it. Here's my bullets.
Okay.
We already talked about this, but did John have a cell phone? And like we could find out where the phone was to see where John was. That would be like a good thing. Or like if it connected to Wi-Fi inside of Brian Albert's house or some shit.
Right.
Or like did it connect to another phone? Like can you tell the distances between each other? We got to have that kind of information available, right?
You would think, yeah.
And again, the defense hasn't come up, so maybe they do. Friday's testimony, so this would have been a week from today. That testimony.
That we are recording, yeah.
Yeah, a week from today that we're recording. They brought up question about the blood alcohol content test that was run on Karen.
Mm-hmm.
So I had mentioned that they speculated that her level was like 0.13 to 0.29 or something, like insane.
Yeah.
Well, the defense questions the validity of that because I guess the police never actually collected her blood for like to measure that or anything. Her blood was collected at the hospital when she went to the Good Samaritan Hospital with John O'Keefe and was like freaking out. They drew her blood and then they used that blood. The police department had to get that blood from the hospital to run the blood alcohol content level and then to speculate how drunk she must have been.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many variables that the police don't know that they're now saying that that is not an accurate level of testing for a couple of reasons. One being, if you're going to draw blood for that, you can't use an alcohol swab.
That makes sense.
And this was not done under police, whatever. So,
Yeah.
like, any kind of evidence, it could be fucking...
So they used an alcohol swab.
They probably used an alcohol swab. Also, the test was done on blood serum and not, like, the whole blood itself or whatever, which I guess in itself always concentrates the alcohol levels to be higher. So you're supposed to use the whole blood.
Oh.
And they have to know when her last drink was in order to be able to calculate how drunk she was at 12:45.
Yeah, because you don't know when she stopped or
You
whatever.
don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
So they're speculating that her last drink had to have been later than 12:45. Like, she obviously wasn't drinking at the crime scene, you know?
Yeah,
But I think they
probably.
used that as her last drink time, or like 12:30 when they left the bar or something. But she could have gone home, had another drink before bed.
Yeah.
And
Like
that would have increased
John
her blood
Higgins
alcohol
did.
level. Exactly, like John Higgins did. And that would have increased it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which, I mean, we don't know. I don't know if
she
did
probably
or not.
doesn't know either. She was blackout drunk.
Maybe, but her tummy did hurt, so I feel like when your tummy hurts, you don't drink more. Just saying. You know, we don't know. That's not a valid blood alcohol content, whatever, test to be able to, like, back.
Yeah.
We don't know how drunk she was.
Not in trial. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so there's this Canton library.
Mm-hmm. Been there. No, I'm just kidding.
And I guess it has surveillance footage, and it's motion activated.
Okay.
And it's located on Karen's route that she would have taken to get to Brian Albert's home.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if she would have taken it to get to John's home. It's kind of fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you definitely could have, I guess. So anyway, the footage shows Karen... sorry, I should have said. The library actually captures Karen's SUV on security footage at 12:16 a.m. on the way to Brian Albert's house.
Okay.
So at 12:16, she was on her way. This kind of lines up with the story, right?
Yeah.
Also, you see her early in the morning at like 5 a.m. on her way to get Jen McCabe and to pick her up to go look for John. And you see her twice. Like, they're looking for the body. She drives by twice. But
can you tell the taillight situation?
You can.
Ooh.
You can. And in the one at 5 a.m., you can clearly see that the taillight is busted.
Okay.
But the footage that would show Karen returning from Brian Albert's back to John's house after dropping him off, there's 2 minutes of that footage missing. Like, the police department said, "Hey, man, library, you got to give me all your footage." And so he did. And so now it's evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the police were like, cool, thanks. Here's your fucking logins back or whatever. Didn't tell him he had to save anything, and everything overwrites after 60 days. So that footage is gone. And all we have is what the Canton Police Department collected, or Massachusetts State Police Department. Whoever collected it, that's the only evidence we have. And that's on the prosecution side. And there's 2 fucking minutes of footage that's just gone. So the defense is alleging that because that video gap was between 12:37 a.m. and 12:39 a.m., that would have been the time that Karen would have driven back.
Yeah. How'd they fuck this up?
And they could show whether or not
that?
the taillight was broken or not.
How'd they lose that?
How is that gone? But then you have to keep in mind, these are motion sensors. So,
And
like,
they worked other times.
yeah, so like, if I don't know if the gap is because nothing happened or if the gap is actually missing, like it jumps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, okay, but we could see her taillight then. If it's not broken, she didn't back into him.
Mm-hmm.
If it is broken, she could have backed into him because on the way there, it's not broken.
Yeah.
So but it's convenient that 2 minutes when she would have been driving back, it's very convenient that it's missing.
Very.
But also, the prosecution is alleging like she wouldn't have taken that route. But I'm sure you could have, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't Google look any. I don't even know where fucking John lives. But there is security footage at John's house. He has the security footage.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows her backing out of John's house at 5 a.m. It's snowing a lot. And she gets so motherfucking close to John's car. Like, he's parked perpendicular to her car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, like, behind her, right? And so she backs out straight to, like, turn her car and leave to the left of her, you know, like, turning towards the driver's side. And his car's on the right passenger side where the taillight is.
Mm-hmm.
That's busted. She drives straight back. It looks like, you could argue either way in this footage, that his car got hit by her taillight. Like, it could have hit the windshield wiper on his back car. He had, like, some sort of SUV kind of thing.
Windshield wiper?
The back windshield wiper, whatever, the back
okay.
window wiper, the
Okay.
rear wiper.
Well, I was like, how are you hitting the fucking windshield wiper? Oh, I just hit the windshield wiper.
I know. I don't know. It was something I had read somewhere. It was like, because when she pulls away, there's no snow disturbed that I can tell on any bumpers or anything. And when I first watched it, I was like, I don't think she hit the car. Like, I didn't see the car bump or move or anything. You can see her car jolt, but that could be just from flipping it into drive really quick.
Yeah, or hitting the brakes.
Right, or hitting the brakes. Whatever. There's so many things. But then I've watched it so many times and I've covered up her car to see if I see the car jolt and I feel like I see it move a little bit. But then I don't know if I've just looked at it so much. But there's reasonable doubt that she could have hurt the fucking taillight on the way at 5 a.m. to back out. She could have hit his car, could have cracked it, and then she got there. You can see in the police.
Yeah, but then wouldn't the taillight pieces not be at John's body?
Here's the thing. So you see her pull away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the footage, you can see like a snap of like white light really quick because it looks like it's cracked maybe. And so the whole thing looks red. The taillight still looks red. It's still, the cover is still on place, but it looks like you can see like a little flash of white for a second, suggesting maybe like a crack or something. And then when I had seen the police dash cam footage of her like pacing and freaking around or whatever at the scene when they found John's body, there is an SUV in front of the police car and the hatch is open. I don't know if that was hers, and I don't remember if it was black or white. And it was black and white footage, so I don't know what fucking color the black SUV would be. Would it be black? Would it be white? Is it negative? I don't know. Well, you know how you're like, that's not my shirt?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know. If her hatch had been opened and she slammed it shut, though, that would fall. Or if you pull up and you jump out of the car, whatever, people coming and going and slamming doors in and out of your car.
Yeah.
It could end up there.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, it's a reason. So anyway, the whole point being that if they had that footage, they could disprove this whole taillight thing. Because if her taillight's not broken, then she didn't run him over.
Yeah.
If it's not broken at 12:45 in the morning or cracked
then
or something.
this whole thing goes.
Right. Like, the rest of her car does not look like it was hit by a person, in my opinion.
Yeah. Especially not to puncture a person.
Right.
Also, it can't be that hard to find the dog. Someone knows where that dog is.
That's what's so weird.
Could test the DNA or the bite marks.
How do you find that, though, if everybody's like, I don't know? Like, if the person who knows where it's
Reach out to the community, but you have to have somebody that doesn't give a fuck about these people.
I'm sure he rehomed it to somebody who could help him out.
Somebody else in the...
Somebody else's family member.
Could have old yellered it.
Could have. We don't know.
It already bit another lady, so it could have just been putting down. Like,
yep. Another thing, at 12:41, Karen left John a voicemail that night at 12:41. So she was not with him. She calls John, and you can hear in this voicemail the garage door open. You can hear the car door open. You can hear the house door open. You can hear her heels clicking on the cement of the garage. Like, at 12:41, she is at fucking John's house. Another thing that I find weird is, like, how come we haven't seen the surveillance footage of her coming home so that we could place her? Like, she was...
time.
Yeah, at 12:41. Because then you know a time frame, you know, of, like, when to be looking. So 12:41, that would align with that 12:37 to 12:39 gap. You know, like, it's likely she could have driven by at that time.
We gotta map out this Canton library.
Dude.
See the addresses here. Because if there is a way to go that way, it might just be like a quieter route or whatever, like just an easier drive, whatever, at night.
There's this whole other thing, too, about, you're right. It's just, we don't know who to believe. It's all fucking shit show. And there is this other thing, too. I kind of mentioned it about the plow, right? The plow that fucking Brian Higgins had.
Yeah.
So that night, because there was such a heavy snowstorm, plows ran through the neighborhood. And they keep a log of it. And at 2:30, a plow guy ran through and said that he never saw a black blob on the ground, never saw anything. I also forgot to mention this whole black blob thing. There's somebody in the case, and it's a sister to somebody, and I can't remember who. There's a sister in the case that's like, when I left, I think I might have seen a black blob out there. She's the only one that's like, I might have seen a black blob. Everybody else is like, I didn't see shit. There was nobody out there when they left at 1:30. And in order for her to hit him and leave him for dead, he'd have to be out there at 1:30. Everybody would have had to have seen him.
Yeah, when everybody's leaving.
And everybody's like, I didn't. Except for this one chick who's a sister of somebody on the fucking force. It's like, I think I saw one. So that's where this black blob came in. Okay,
and
so
her brother is going to be like, no, you fucking didn't.
Right. Or you did. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Girl, I don't know. Okay, so that's where I ended it at. There's so many other side routes we could talk about this shit.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, it goes in so many different directions. But
I'm super excited to watch the trial now.
Oh, my God. I will start sending you all the motherfucking TikToks.
Yes, please.
That come across.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
What do you think?
I don't think Karen did it intentionally. If anything, it could be like manslaughter if she did hit him accidentally, yada, yada, yada. I think that the bite marks are really suspicious and something happened there. And either Chloe got out and was like, who's this fucking man in our yard?
Eating him.
Or a dog, like a stray dog, you know, people, those still exist, was out there and was like, hey, there's this man here. I'm just going to fucking bite him a couple times or whatever. Like, there's, I don't know.
Food.
That's weird, though. Like, that didn't happen with her hitting him with the car, you know?
No, I don't think that happened with her hitting him with the car.
That happened somewhere else.
But I want to see his clothing.
Else.
Like, if his well, I guess it would be torn up, too, if there was a dog, you know?
It'd be torn up if there was a dog. It'd be less torn up, I think, if there was a car. thing.
You think so? See, I would think, like, would there
it'd be
be
more
dirt
like-
and gravel or something?
Maybe.
You would think.
But it'd be like a road rash incident with a car, like a giant rub, instead of like
Right.
multiple puncture scratches.
Like, it wouldn't be so clean. It looks very clean. The injuries look clean. They don't look like road
could have
rash.
been washed. That's the thing. They don't
Yeah.
look like road rash. It doesn't look like I fell on the sidewalk and scraped my entire arm. It looks like I fell on maybe 5 needles or nails that were sticking up
And then got drug
fell.
across
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, but, like, who's going to wash it, too, before they, like...
The
fucking-
autopsy guy.
Yeah.
They hose him down, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, but, like, I feel like it's some key evidence. Like,
I
there
mean,
was
maybe.
gravel I had to dig out of there because of his fucking road rash.
That's fair.
But, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards they got rowdy. There was a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was everybody at the party. I think he died at, like,
After.
2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they're all saying we all left at 1:30. Like, everybody else in the party left at 1:30. We didn't hang around another hour.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Jen was home by 2:20 to Google that shit, I'm
Mhm.
guessing she had to leave by 2.
Yeah.
If that shit happened in like 30 minutes and shit got cray, and then they all agree, like, fuck,
We gotta
this
get
does
the fuck
not
outta
look
here.
good.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to survive this. Or if he does, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm going to lose my job or whatever the fuck they think is going to happen worse than if they
Less
just.
than murder.
Yeah. And if they're like, well, you know, we already know that John and Karen were on the rocks already. We'll just go ahead and frame her. Like, I have enough information to know that
But
it could
that's
have
so
been her.
fucking crazy too. Like, just to be a cop and to have this, like, you know, I'm gonna protect the law and the people and da-da-da mindset. Like,
Yeah.
that's what your job literally is. So that's
Right.
what your mindset should be.
Right.
It's not what anyone's mindset, any
Is.
police officer is, but it should be, right?
Yeah.
And then to have your first thought,
How do we fix this?
allegedly,
Yeah.
be how do we cover this up or fix this or whatever, is just such a fucking shitty feeling,
Right.
you know?
Well, and how convenient that those taillights are there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that the taillight could have hit? I guess the flagpole?
I don't know also if the defense is going to bring up the questioning of everything because it is friends who found the evidence. So could it have been planted there? Like, I don't know the timing on
Could
when
it have been planted there?
Could it have been planted there? Because I don't know the timing of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, I don't know when, I'm starting to turn into, like, Mexican. I don't know when her car was towed. Like, I don't know because I didn't write it all down. It could match. But, like, did they kind of come up with this theory because she was like, I hit him, and they were like, oh, hey, let's go get her vehicle because that could be showing us that they hit her, that, you know, so
Yeah.
an officer who genuinely does not know because, like, let's say I committed a crime, you weren't around, but I know you're a police officer and I don't let you know. I might be like, let's see what she's going to find first, you know? And
Yeah.
then when it starts to go south, I'd be like, oh shit, help me, right?
well, she said that.
So maybe the police officers, the investigating officers are like, well, she admitted to it. Like, let's go get her car.
Mhm.
Brian fucking Higgins has access to her car.
Mhm. And he's like, I can make that happen.
And he also was at the crime scene.
And he also had an affair, allegedly, with the victim's wife.
He could have. He could have easily thrown it out there if he had some pieces like this matches a crime. I'm going to chuck it out
Mhm.
there. I don't know the timing. I'm speculating wildly. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
based on the information I do know, that he had all the perfect access points to make that happen. But if the taillights had been found prior to her vehicle coming in and being processed, then my only theory would be it was cracked at 5 a.m. when she was running around and it fell off there from, like, doors opening and slamming, or if the trunk had been opened and closed.
Sure. But weren't they found near his body? Or on his body? She wouldn't have parked there.
I don't know if
again.
they were just, like, in the area.
In the area.
It wasn't specified, like, where.
All
like,
right.
he's laying on his chest.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, that's what I'm wondering, you know, if they were found, like,
They had to use the motherfucking leaf blower. Who knows where it was?
fair.
Probably blew the plastic around.
Fair.
Also, bright red, I feel like you could see that. You don't need a leaf blower. I understand that it can snow a lot, but, like, we have records of how much it snowed. How much did it snow? Like,
Yeah.
was it inches? Because I feel like inches, you could still see it shining
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Feet, I guess how many inches? Like an inch or two, 3 inches? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
How
really know
fluffy
the
is it?
density of snow and what you can and cannot see through.
I
You
do know, though, in Big Bear that we lost a set of keys over the span of a weekend, though,
Fair.
in the snow.
Yeah.
Then we kicked the snow around and found it. We didn't use a motherfucking leaf blower.
If we had one, though.
It would have been really
Think
smart.
of how much easier that
Would
would
have
have
been
been.
so smart. You can tell they live in the snow.
Yeah, right. Just use the leaf blower. I
Anyway,
don't know, man. That's fucking crazy. And I cannot wait to see the end of it.
Yeah. Sorry that took a million years.
That's okay.
And that's the reason you don't have a Patreon episode this week.
Yeah.
It'll be next week.
Now get on it.
That'll be next week. I'm not doing as long as this one, though, because I need a life. I just fucking researched this fucking last goddamn week of my life. All right. So, good luck, guys. Let me know what you think. I want to hear everybody's fucking theories. Like, please pour them in. Send us emails, fucking DM us on social media. Like, what do you guys fucking think?
Yeah, and if anybody lives there, fucking let us know if you go by the Canton Library to get to John's house.
And, like, what did I miss? Did I misrepresent something? Let me know. Let's talk about it. I'm so fucking interested.
Hell yeah.
And, maybe there'll be a part 2 to this. Like, if more shit comes out.
Yeah, we gotta hear the defenses side.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a part 2 episode on.
Oh, that'd be fun.
After it's all done. But if it's all the same shit, then I'll just be like, hey, guess what?
Yeah, we'll give the update when we know, you know?
By the way, the whole Brian Koberger thing for the Idaho 4 murders, that trial still hasn't happened.
I fucking know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And
he got some kind of stay or whatever for some reason.
He, like, waived his right to a speedy trial.
Yeah.
He's fucking dragging his feet. And also...
because he's going to go to prison for life.
Can you tell that I'm like, this motherfucker did it? He's, like, disputing his alibi, which his whole alibi was that he was just driving around that night. Mm-hmm. But evidently there's some evidence that's going to fucking dispute it. But I don't know. Anyway, I promised I would update. That's the only update I have. Nothing has happened.
Now that I'm going to have to update on this one, I should update on that last one.
Right, let me check that off. So, if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to this case, go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X. Our handle is at ISGD Podcast. I just dropped a bunch of shit.
Oh, that's all.
The touch of my toe. You can also email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com. You can snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
And like I said, fucking reach out to us. I want to see you guys blowing up my social media. Not mine personally, the podcast. To like what is going on. I'm so motherfucking invested.
I am too now. How exciting is that?
I know.
I got something to do. Now I'm going to watch all those TikToks and I'll give Kevin Tiff my expert opinion.
Oh, I've been texting Tiff this whole time. And sometimes
she's texting us right now, I saw.
Oh, really? Well, maybe it's about the case. But I have been texting her the whole time. Now, Tiff, I think, originally thought Karen was guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't really remember. Because we've been texting like different, and now she's kind of with us where she's like, that's pretty shady. I don't fucking know. I don't believe anybody. I think everybody's pretty shady. I think she's kind of like how we are at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Everybody's got fucking secrets.
Insane. So corrupt. Okay, I'll stop.
All right.
Please subscribe, rate, and review. We love you. Bye.
Bye.